Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to the pre-tape of the Smackdown coverage of Bash of Berlin. Welcome to Weebs of the Ring episode 60, to the go home show before our big PoE. For tonight's Smackdown coverage of Stampede, you will get the recap of the show. We have a Grappling of the week. Like is your first time to the show, this is where we talk about what we've been watching, consuming that's wrestling related out of our Monday night coverage show. So if you have been watching something like AWON, AW Dynamite, TNA that just happened, or NXT that happened that pre-taped this past week as well, let us know your thoughts about it for us to discuss. We have also some announcements later to be happening, maybe some future projects. But our headline is the street fight of the women's title, Nia Jax versus Michin. That'll be our headline story. And our main story is Cody Rhodes face-to-face with Kevin Owens. And then our mid-card stories are the U.S. title Open Challenge LA Knight versus Ludwig Kaiser. A lot of people, like ourselves last week, said Giovanni Vinci, most likely, but no. Ludwig said, I took your girl, I'm going to take your match too. And we got a two-man tag match. Baron Corbin, Apollo Crews versus Humberto and Garza. And then our last one is round 4. Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes. And then our last conversation is our prediction for Bash of Berlin 2024. Right before we start our PLE coverage tomorrow. Check out the stream, it's already there. Without further ado, let's get ready for the show and let's have a good time.
Of the entertainment of professional wrestling, so allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling event of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all nerds. Grab your steel chair, yell to the table, and get put through an experience like none other. Brought to you by AniMa V Studio. This is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. And that's right, with that horrible German accent out of the way. God, I'm sorry if I offended any of you out there. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that's right. You are here for the Weebs of the Ring podcast. Hopefully everybody's having a good night. It's been a decent Friday over here, in my little neck of the woods. But, I'm not the only one with a neck of the woods. Your world champion walk-ins is always joined by some lovely, lovely fellows. First off, on my right shoulder, the man, the myth, the legend himself. He is him tonight. Vash, how you doing tonight?
Is your visionary, the legendary Vash, who dictates the future of telling you the story that he is him. Like Watkins said, the best in the world. He was not here tonight, but the best, youngest rising star came in 2-2. Like you see on my screen, there's man, the cocky man himself, literally like, yo, you know how it is. I always be cooking. I always be getting his W's, always be having his parties. He said, yo, the big three are watching me. I'm all about that flow.
All about that flow he was as he went and goed. I don't know. I tried to rhyme. It didn't work. I'm sorry, everybody. It's been a day. I'm just so freaking happy we have a 3-day weekend for those of us with normal working schedules. I've needed an extra break. Oh, man. But for those who don't need an extra break, maybe somebody can help kind of ease that pain for, your work days and all that. Because on my left, we have Drop This Box. Drop, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. It's pretty crazy that we're gonna have a big weekend of wrestling.
Yes.
We got
Oh my
today,
God.
got tomorrow, got Sunday.
And then back to
Dude.
Monday.
Oh yeah,
Dude, we've had a crazy,
and
like,
Tuesday.
we're gonna have like a crazy 3 weeks of wrestling because
Yeah.
and this kind of transitions to our grappling with the week I almost said week there. Oh my gosh, I worked on my German accent too much.
Yeah,
Oh
even
my
Chad
gosh.
said Walker's talk like that the whole episode. I'm like, good luck with that. That's gonna go
What?
so badly.
Yeah. No, that ain't happening. I'm sorry, people. Maybe for the outro, we'll see. Maybe bits and pieces here
By
and
the way,
there. But
before Watkins finds out later, I'm gonna say that Chad didn't hear the first 3 lines of your intro because while I was laughing from your introduction, I accidentally was laughing and I pressed the mic off, so they only heard the last part of the intro. To want to mention.
well, we will be docking your pay for the night then. So
Damn.
hopefully you enjoyed that. But yeah, so this kind of transitions to our grappling with the week, where we talk about some things that we've consumed wrestling related, outside of WWE before we get into our conversation about SmackDown. And yeah, like I was saying, we've got like a big 3 weeks of wrestling because like this past Saturday we had AEW All In, which was pretty good show. Pretty good show. Definitely some highlights from that. But like this week, Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, and like all that stuff that you normally get. Tomorrow we got Bash in Berlin. Sunday we've got No Mercy. And then
Back to
Saturday, yeah, back to Monday, like our normal stuff like during the week. And then I'm pretty sure on Saturday we have All Out.
Which I just found that out from this Wednesday watching clips from AEW. By the way, big shout out to AEW having Ricochet. For anybody that have not seen the news from last week, past Sunday, 5-hour or 6-hour show that AWON had. I didn't know they had a show right after called All Out, which to me kind of got me a bit like stumped. Where I'm like, how many PLEs or sorry, how many pay-per-views do you guys have? I feel like they have a pay-per-view almost every 2-3 weeks now.
Yeah, the same thing kind of happened last year too, where like they had All In, and then like the week after they had All Out.
Which I feel like that
It's like-
takes it away. I feel like that's not I feel like the nice thing about the PLEs for the computer,
It's better structured.
It's
next
better
year, though.
structured. Like at least yes,
Mhm.
we do complaints every 3 weeks, but is their fault on the booking and also because our calendars fuck up, so it's their fault for every 3-4 weeks. But at least they have one planned out every 3-4 weeks. But for AW, I feel like it's so stacked and no type of good booking that it makes it very inconsistent to follow through. As a fan myself that is going to be watching Dynamite more on a weekly basis just for one guy being there. Yes, guys, I will be watching more because of Ricochet. I'm going to say it right now in blunt. You can clip this out, say it anywhere. I'm literally going to be watching Dynamite for Ricochet the whole show. That's literally what it is. Even though he's not going to be the whole show, probably going to be having a match or one promo. But because of him being on it, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to check out the rest of the hour and 25 minutes of the show itself.
Until Chris Jericho comes on, and it's just like, and turn it off. Oh man. But I mean, I guess for me, like the biggest thing I watched was All In, which again had some good matches. I think some of the standouts for me were MJF versus Will Ospreay. I really like that one. Danielson and Swerve Strickland. That match was really good.
Yeah, he finally won.
Oh yeah, he won. Danielson won the title and all that. Yeah. There's a couple others, but I'm drawing a blank right now. So I'm just gonna bring it off to you guys. So, Drop, I want you to start us off. How did you grapple with the week this week?
I did catch a couple highlights from All In. I didn't really sit through the entire show, but I did see the matches that really stood out to me. Like when it comes to the Mariah May and Toni Storm match, I did look into that one because I will agree when it comes to what a lot of people are saying, that is probably the best women's storyline they've done in a while. Because normally when it comes to like super in-depth storylines, you don't really see that often in like wrestling. So I can applaud AEW for doing a really good job with that. I mean, definitely a lot more compelling of a story than the Mercedes and Britt Baker, which I'll touch on in just a little bit. I was very satisfied with how that ended, and hopefully Mariah May has a good run with the title. Definitely deserved it. The only thing that caught me off guard was the Casino Gauntlet match when you had Christian Cage winning. Like, I understand why he won, like the reason made sense, but at the same time, there's like a part of me that thought Adam Page was gonna win that match.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really
Because
weird. Yeah.
because it just factors so well into that whole storyline he has with Swerve over the past year. So that's why I thought he was gonna come out on top. But adding Christian in there, like there's no complaints there. That just really caught me off guard. And then the Will Ospreay and MJF match, I already expected that to be a banger. I mean, the first one was a
Oh,
banger
yeah.
when it had that hour match on Dynamite.
Mhm.
And this definitely, like we saw towards the end of it, leads into the match at All Out between MJF and Daniel Garcia, which I'm hoping potentially it's like a 50-50 with me that maybe Danny Garcia goes over that match to establish him more because he has a lot of potential as a star. But there's also rumors of his contract right now, and it
Yeah.
said recently that nothing's set in stone. Like he hasn't really made his decision all the way through. So I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where it's like he does the job on the way out. You know, he has whatever things laid out like Tony normally does with his superstars before they head off into the sunset and begin a journey somewhere else. So I don't know if this is going to be the last thing for him because I guess it makes sense
Mhm.
why they're doing this because of what happened in the early stages of this match with MJF and Will Ospreay because MJF took him out.
Yeah.
So I did like that whole match. And then Bryan Danielson and Swerve Strickland, that was a fantastic match. Probably one of the best matches in AEW history, just based on the story alone. And we know how good of a storyteller Bryan Danielson is. So
Mhm.
I'm not really surprised in that. And
Yeah.
the only match I really had, well, there's other matches I didn't care for on the show, but the only match that I didn't really care for that I really wish there was like more story put into it was the
Mhm.
Mercedes and Britt Baker match because there was so much more you could have done with that story because Britt is a good on the mic. I'm not going to take that away from her. She's probably one of the best over there when it comes to the experience on the microphone alone. So she could have easily took things from Mercedes past and used it against her to really add more layers to it, which she did. She did bring things saying how she's all about herself now. She's not that role model like she used to be anymore. But I really wish they digged a little deeper into that. Like they actually cut more layers, kind of like how they did with like Tony and Mariah May's match. I kind of wish they added like more layers to it. But like the whole match, and I saw a lot of other people say this as well. The match felt like really flat, especially when you have it after the Will Ospreay and MJF match, the intensity in that match alone, and then you have that there. You know, it's kind of like people were just sucked dry, and I literally heard crickets.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
and that kind of sucks with like the placement that they had on the
yeah,
card itself, but yeah.
yeah, because I would have easily done this. Um, I would have easily done this maybe a little earlier in the show, and then I
Mhm.
would have had like the Mariah May match, maybe like 2 or 3 matches down a little bit later, because at least there's a lot of attraction when it comes to that. But I thought it was a really
Yeah.
good show overall, and adding a few things on from like NXT that I want to touch on since we do have No Mercy on Sunday. I honestly that right there, I will say when it comes to the No Mercy show, that right off the bat is building into like the future of NXT, especially when they start entering the CW era.
Yep.
So you're
I
Mhm.
gonna
can
see a
tell.
lot of things. So you're gonna see a lot of things evolve over time because we already hear these news coming out about how they want to travel a little bit more and have more shows that's not at the performance center. So you could already tell that they're
Right.
trying to really establish what sort of direction that they want to go down. And you also have a good opportunity right here where you could potentially have Joe Hendry win the NXT
I want him to
championship
win. I'm gonna say this
from
now. I want him to win. Like he's my vote. Like
I would love it.
if you ask me to put the stock on it between them two,
I,
it's definitely Joe Hendry. I
oh
like Ethan
yeah,
Page,
it's
and not saying I'm not a fan for anybody that's a fan out there.
yeah,
Ethan
he's
Page
very
is cool.
charismatic.
He's
He
very
has the
good.
best of both worlds. Best good in-ring performer, good on the mic. That's pretty much the qualities you
But
need
I
to
want to see
become. I
the
really
odds of Joe Hendry. And by the way, how do you guys feel about the twist they did with Trick Williams being the guest referee? Because I like that. Because they're making still Trick Williams still be a center importance of NXT in its new era that's going about to come in. but also showing that he's not being booked in the ring, but he's at least being part of the main event. So I really
Well,
love that.
I do like.
the weird part with that is like he recently lost to Pete Dunne, and
Makes
he's
me think
having
Pete
like
Dunne's coming into that match some way, shape, or form.
yeah, so like I don't know if this ends up leading into another fatal four way for the match, or for the title. I mean, I don't know, but like, or maybe Trick starts kind of focusing a little bit more on Pete Dunne at least right now until he gets like back towards the title picture and all that. I don't know that's just me really
Now,
just yeah.
another thing to also take into account as well is on Tuesday they were teasing someone looking at Roxanne and
So
Jada Parker when they had that backstage interview.
I
And
asked that.
Julia.
I asked it to
Yeah,
Watkins. He said Julia. My guess was Stephanie. So
I,
yours drop is who
I'm gonna say Julia,
as well? Okay.
only because the way that it's mapped right now, it makes perfect sense for her to make her debut here because she recently finished up in Marigold.
Yeah,
You
they
saw pictures of her like saying her goodbyes to family and all of that. And now she's
Yeah.
officially going to be heading to WWE to start off her career. So I feel like if you want to make a statement somehow and you have Roxanne constantly bringing up Stephanie and Julia's name, you might as well have her debut after this match. Like I wouldn't have her interfere. That really wouldn't make any sense. But it's like obviously Roxanne's going over in this match. No disrespect to Jada Parker or everything. I'm pretty sure she's going to be an NXT Women's Champion one day. But I feel like if you want to make a statement, especially since we're heading into this new era, and you have this girl that you're constantly talking shit about all the time, and I'm pretty sure Stephanie Vacura is going to get her look in sooner or later. But I feel like Julia is probably the safest bet because everything's mapped out. Makes sense. She wrapped up everything. Have her debut
Yeah.
here, and then start building a program between her and Roxanne. And then I did hear reports, and I do believe them. I don't remember where they came from, but they did say that their current plan for Julia is to have her have a very similar run that Asuka had,
Oscar.
where
Yeah,
she went into
Mhm.
NXT. She was completely dominant. Nobody was able to take the title off of her, and she eventually, obviously, went to the main roster, did her own thing, but if they're gonna do something like that, they can. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if. Actually, she very well could. Honestly, I think when Julia and Roxanne do have their match, I could actually see Julia winning that because I feel like it's only a matter of time for Roxanne heads up to the main roster because she's done everything in
yep.
NXT. And if you want somebody to take her spot as like the top women's wrestler within that division in NXT, Julia is the perfect example for that. And then you could have Julia go on this dominant run, and then once it hits Stand and Deliver next year, you could easily have a program between Julia and Stephanie Vacure at Stand and Deliver. I feel
Yeah.
like that's definitely the game plan that I'm pretty sure Sean has in his head. It was like, okay, we want these two to be like one of the main. We want these two to have a program at our Stand and Deliver pay-per-view on WrestleMania weekend next year, almost like how it's planted in their heads, obviously, because we see the clips online with Gunther and Ilya Dragunov wrestling for the World Heavyweight Championship. We know that's a long-term thing that they want to do with Gunther, and that's a similar situation between these two ladies because they have a lot of history with each other, and I know Sean is probably foaming out of the mouth to eventually do that match. I know that for sure. I mean, I don't blame him because
Yeah.
they're fantastic.
Exactly.
Mhm. Oh man. Well, anything else that you grappled with this week, Drop, or
No, I just wanted to share a few thoughts on that because I
yeah.
know we're not going to be able to get to it since we're going to be doing Bash tomorrow and obviously our regular routine throughout the week. So I just wanted to give shed some thoughts on there.
Yeah, because
Okay.
for anybody that haven't joined a Discord, I will be watching No Mercy on Discord. Haven't decided if I'm gonna do
Yeah.
sidecast or I haven't even spoken to the team
Mhm.
about it, but I'll definitely be watching No Mercy because I'm really curious to see how the turn of events will be for our matches of Kelani as well. Her NXT Women's, her I think her third title defense, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Like, oh, I'm all happy for Carmelo and his girl,
Think
like
so.
getting the spotlight, doing good,
She's
and
gonna
everything.
do good.
Exactly. So I'm very proud of her, and I can't wait to see what
Mhm.
else they do. Um,
Wenji Chu looks
for
so different compared to back then.
for Dynamite. The only thing I want to say about AEW and Dynamite itself, it's Ricochet's here. I love the promo he's did, and a lot of people keep me
Yeah.
mad about his choice. Look, there is
Oh, he
many
did he
wrestling
did a
companies.
promo on Wednesday.
Yeah, he did a promo on Wednesday as well, and
Oh,
also
I didn't realize that.
there was a interview as what I came out today that I posted it on our Discord, and
Oh,
Ricochet said it honestly. Like, look, I've been in this career of mine for 21 years. I believe he said 21 or 27 years. One of the other 21, 27 years. He's been doing this for so long. So, at the end of the day, with WWE, if they're not gonna use him, he's gonna go show skills somewhere else. As long as he's having fun, is doing his job. That's what he cares about. He doesn't care about the spotlight. He doesn't care about having the titles. He just cares about doing his job and having a good time. So for him, that's what he finds important, and I feel like that's good for any type of wrestler or entertainer. You gotta see that there's all is pros and cons in whatever company. So I'm really
Mhm.
excited for this type of run for Ricochet and see what he does. I'm excited to be watching AEW again on a weekly basis. Only in speaking terms, so I should tell the audience first to understand. I'll be watching Dynamite 100%. 100% I will be watching Dynamite, at least the
Oh.
clips. Rampage is a big maybe, and Collision would be like a 1% if I ever do. That's honestly.
No,
Ooh.
Collision would be like a one where it's just like, okay, I have absolutely nothing to
Exactly.
do on a Saturday.
It's like if me and
Could
Watkins hit
put
up each other
Collision
like,
on.
hey, are you doing nothing? I'm not doing nothing. No, okay, cool. Want to watch
Yeah.
Collision? Then yeah, let's watch Collision on Discord.
Yeah,
It gives
fine,
us
why
something
not?
to do, so it's nice. That's one thing I would say for TNA. I'm really excited for TNA having their match or their tape that they had like some type of event today or yesterday, I believe. So congrats to them because they had a few things uh, of some title switches. Some the guy that
Mm.
was the partner of Wesley with the trio, he just won a belt today. So congrats to Zachary, dope belt. Uh, Wesley is about to have a match as well on Sunday. I'm a Wesley fan, so I'm really curious to see how this heel run of his will be going. They had a good
Oh
promo
yeah.
this past Tuesday. It was really interesting because they started to go on the real life where Juan
Mhm.
Miguel was talking about Wesley saying that who was there for you when your wife had to work and I had to bring you food while you had your back surgery and everything. I'm like, it just sounds like a friend thing, I guess, but it doesn't sound that like
Mhm.
type of like stab in the back type of like promo work. But I get what they're going for. It sounded hard and everything, and they're trying to go deep. You're trying to go real, so I get it. Overall, I like the promo. I like Wesley, and I'm a fan, and I love this collab for them. But I'm really interested where they're gonna go. Like, who are they gonna get the W to in this one? Because I think they should give the W for TNA, on for Miguel in this little match. So that's something I'm really hoping for. Wesley should get the next W next month, during the month of October for their match of Halloween Havoc. I believe they have the next one after. So that's something
Yeah.
that I'll be hoping for.
Mm.
Yeah, same here. But okay. Great. Well, hey, you know what? That's how we grappled with the week. That's how we decided to put the week into a choke slam and slam it right into the ground, going right through the ring and all that. So, yeah, hopefully you guys grappled with the week pretty well. And now we're gonna move on to our main stop for the evening with SmackDown. We're going to start with our headline story, our main event tonight, which was the women's title on the line. Nia Jax putting it up against Michin in a street fight. Now, I'm actually surprised they didn't try to do like because one thing WWE loves to do, especially when they go like overseas, they love to have like variations on the street fight name. So like I guess for example with like Christmas time, there's always like the oh, what do they call it again? It's like the
I know what you're talking
The
about.
collect, I believe the
yeah,
Nightmare Before Christmas. The other one they had the street fight.
no, it's like
What?
the
What's that? Miracle on 34th Street or something?
Yeah.
yeah, Miracle on 34th Street Fight or
They also
something like
had the
that.
street
Like
fight uh, of the Viking Raiders. The other street fight they had last
mhm,
time like that. So they always have their type of style. I believe last time they had the Philly street fight as well. Remember back for the
mhm.
Street Profits versus the Final Testament.
Yeah. So yeah, they usually try to do a spin with the Street Fight name, but I'm kind of surprised they didn't do that tonight.
Maybe they didn't have a
Uh,
good marketing for that name.
maybe I don't know. But yeah, this was a fun match. You know, I mean, Michin going in there, I didn't really expect her to win, but I had fun with it. You know, there were some cool spots. You know, and I think the most important thing with this, and especially with like Michin this year, because like she's had this was like what her third title opportunity. Um, I don't know. Like, I'm just glad she's getting time and being able to show the crowd what she's all about. But Vash, I'm gonna start with you with this one. How'd you feel about this match?
I love how you said it that this is her third or second title defense, and I love that people be like, "Oh, girl, don't get no W's." Bitch, she's getting TV time, isn't she? Aren't we watching her? Just because she didn't get a win, that she still got a record. She has an L, but she showed what she got. And people said that I love that they gave Nia the regular walk entrance girls a champion, but I love how they give Michin the camera follow her promo saying that, hey, Michin is not just my name, it's who I am, it's my personality. So I love
Mhm.
that she gave a persona to her character. She's adding more to the character. So some people are succeeding, some people are failing in the women division, but Michin is one of them. She's knowing what she's doing. She's been taking her classes, girl been taking her work very serious. So I'm very proud of her to be doing what she's doing, because I was actually hooked into what she was, telling the audience, like, hey, Michin is not just my name, it's who I am. So that was a really good solid line. It got stuck with me, and I just love how she just came out with the not the baton. I always get that name wrong.
I know you're talking about.
Oh, the kendo stick.
Kendos.
Thank you,
Yep.
the kendo stick. I always call it
Yeah.
I always call it baton because of my training back in the force. I always
Mhm.
call it the baton because that's how I know it's the weapon. But yes, the kendo stick. So the kendo
That's,
stick. I love
Tarzan.
how that's always her go-to weapon. Like she's
Oh, yeah.
always ready to swing at that. Girl had a cart ready and everything. I was hoping that she was running with the cart, in like a Mario Kart, like just running with the cart to the ring and just started swinging.
No, she like it literally that's what you do in like the 2K games when like you grab a weapon, or at least I do this, like especially a kendo stick. I'll grab it and then I'll hold the L2 button to run, and like you do like this swinging just like running attack on the opponent. Um yeah, that's something I would do. But yeah, this was brutal, especially that finish, man. Like with the trash can.
Yeah.
Oh, great finisher. Really
Oh.
solid on that one.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
they're pretty. Especially when Nia
Mhm.
like started throwing shit at her towards the end.
Oh, so-
Like I know it's not real, but just like the whole side of it, it's like, oh shit. It's like it's that meme. It's like you're already dead.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Stop it.
It was hilarious because I felt Nia frustration when she was throwing the stuff. I felt she like.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the meme of where the guy it just slapping people? Like the meme just keeps like the kids, the girls, the
Oh.
people just slap. So that's
They
what.
keep coming up to him.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I felt like Nia was doing. She's like, tired of your shit. This fucking match, fucking street fight. He's this thing. I want to throw you this other thing. Fuck, I'm tired. My back hurts. Let's get it out of this. Our TV off. Let's go. My fucking leg hurts. That's what I felt Nia expression was whenever she was throwing that. Just frustrated and angry of this match. But she was just happy and had to play the role of being the bad guy too. She's like, I'm gonna throw just the garbage can, Lynn, the pan, the top. I'm gonna just throw this random shit too.
Oh yeah. It was just so glorious. But again, the whole match, had some good action to it. But we did have one shocking thing. Drop your girl. Your girl thought about cashing in, didn't she?
Yeah.
How do you feel about this
I-
blue balls
no.
of maybe not,
No,
but then
I,
got
w-
caught
I
by
will.
Nia?
I will. Here's the thing. I like how there's actually a story behind this. So
Mhm.
it's not like Tiffany's just being reckless and doing whatever doing whatever she wants without thinking. Like they're actually taking some time to tell a story with this. That way we can get invested in it when it eventually happens. Because judging on how they're building a story with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton right now, you can tell that
Mhm.
Tiffany Stratton's going to have a successful cash in, because
Oh
if it
yeah.
was going to be a failed cash in, she would have cashed in already and we would have been moving on from this.
Hmm.
Because no disrespect towards Chelsea Green, but if she were to win that Money in the Bank contract, and judging how they book things on the show, they probably would try to make a meme out of her, which I wouldn't
Oh
want
yeah.
that, because I would want her to cash in and win. But judging how they're taking their time telling the story of her and Nia, it says, okay, it's going to come to a point where Tiffany will have that successful cash in that will help establish her character even more, that makes her grow. And I
Hmm.
like how they're taking some time with this, because it's adding layers to it, because you already saw what happened last week where Nia was overhearing what Chelsea and Piper Niven were
Yep.
saying about how Tiffany's only with Nia because eventually it's going to come to that time where Nia's not paying attention and then Tiffany's going to turn on her and cash in on her. And you guys probably saw this in like different forms of media when it comes to different movies or books or video games, where you have that certain plot point being built up within that story, and then it eventually takes off once you reach that certain point of the story. Like I said, if it's like a movie, TV show, book, video game, whatever, where Nia is going to start getting all of that suspicion in her head, and she's going to
Hmm.
make certain, she's going to react a certain way that's going to affect her and Tiffany's relationship, that's going to push Tiffany to make a decision like that. Because
Yeah.
Tiffany, like we saw when they had that whole celebration, Tiffany was trying to do something nice for Nia because that's her best friend. She wanted to make sure that she had the best celebration ever. That's why she did all of that hard work to design the whole thing on the ring, and had Pretty Deadly do the little spot. So looking at like how the relationship is, Nia is going to do something to affect that relationship, and then it's going to have Tiffany pretty much have a different view of Nia, where I don't know if this is WWE slowly planting seeds to us, but it could potentially be a slow face turn for
Hmm.
Tiffany, because I can't really see Tiffany turning on Nia being like a sort of heel thing. Because I mean, look at Nia, she's a heel, she's mean. That's just somebody standing up to their bullies. Why would that be like a heel move? Oh, Tiffany's attacking Nia. Like, no, that's, I can't really see that as being a heel move. So I just like how there's a layers. I just like how there's a story behind this, because when is the last time we've ever really seen a story with a cash in,
Right.
especially for the woman?
Yeah, because like, I mean, we kind of got it with, I mean, Judgment Day, but again, like you specified, mainly with the women's side, because like a lot of the women's Money in the Bank winners, they cashed in almost immediately. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, Io didn't really have a story with it. She held that thing for like a month and a half, I
Yeah,
think,
very
yeah,
before
quick.
cashing in.
yeah,
Um, People like Alexa Bliss, Bailey herself, cashed in within 24 hours.
yeah.
Liv Morgan too when she had it. So like, yeah, there's not really too much of a story. I think the only one that comes to mind is Carmella, but
Yeah,
she really didn't have much of a story because it was
yeah.
really just her trying to cash in and failing each time because oh my god, the one spot that I keep remembering, it's just the referee being like, "Huh? What you give me? What is
Yeah,
this
you
briefcase
could thank
like?"
you could thank the old administration for like putting random ass NPCs on
Yeah,
a
that
professional
was
wrestling
Yeah.
show.
that's the thing I'm really excited for, to see what's the future like. As much as I could say that me and Drop just got back into wrestling 2 years ago, and see like the difference of the regime now to now where we are. I'm really excited
Mhm.
for this a lot more, because seeing the past type of history of what the old regime has been holding for the last 30 years to now the next 20, 30 years, where we're going to head it in the next 4 months. We're about to, like, I remember early this year when we first spoke about the Netflix news. Now we're 4 months away. Like, that's the excitement part, to see where
Yeah,
Yeah.
even, you know, even this morning with the kickoff, there was something that Rhea heard during her segment. She said, "I agree, but I cannot repeat that. If they were live on
Mhm.
Netflix during the kickoff shows, they have more of the liberty if they want to repeat those
Yeah.
type of things. Because
Yeah,
with
you work in
Netflix,
production, so you know how that works over there.
so that's the thing. I'm really
Yeah.
curious about how things will be switched. So I'm really excited for that, and to know how much with the booking for the Women's Money in the Bank and others could be in the future. I'm really excited for it.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, me too.
And
Um.
and for Bailey coming out, I was very shocked that because I was curious to know who
Oh.
was Tiffany gonna be against. Because with Tiffany being there, me and Walkers were watching together. So I'm like, wait a minute, Nia
Mhm.
can't win because we have 3 minutes left still. So it's too early for the win. But then I'm like, who's gonna stop Tiffany? When Bailey came out, I'm like, okay, makes sense. The previous champion, I thought it probably would have been Naomi or something, but with Bailey, it
Mhm.
works. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And I love how Bailey just kick out Tiffany out of the ring. But Nia has the most funniest expression. If you ask me, who has the most funniest expression in the women's division right now is Nia. Her shocking face
Oh, yeah.
when she opened her eyes when Tiffany's like, bitch,
Like-
you about to cash in right now? Like, come on. Like, right now,
Here's
my match,
the-
like, this one, while I'm having a
Here's
street
one-
fight?
Here's one thing I will say about that, and I'm looking at Nia. If she was in the same position as Tiffany, Nia wouldn't let Tiffany say, "Oh, you can't tash on me. You can't do this or that." Nia would do it in an instant, regardless.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whatever kind of relationship that they had, she wouldn't. But since it's about her now, she wants to have the whole grasp on it. But you got to realize this person has a Money in the Bank contract, and obviously the whole women's storyline on Raw is focused solely on Rhea and Liv, so it really makes no sense to throw Tiffany in that. Same thing of NXT. I mean, she already won that. Why would she go back and win that again?
Yeah.
So it's like Nia should realize, regardless, that there's going to be a time where Tiffany is going to cash in that contract. I'm pretty sure she
Mhm.
knows that, but she's not going to just win it and then wait a year and have it expire. I mean, that would be a waste. But
Hell yeah.
I can almost see a scenario where Nia tries to kind of be proactive with it and try to take out Tiffany Stratton for a bit. Oh wait, that would actually be sick. Like she takes out Tiffany Stratton and like Tiffany's like off TV for like a little bit, like maybe let's say a month,
And then
let's
come
say.
back and you hear the song while she's in a match, and then the song comes in,
and she cashes in.
That would
Oh,
be
yeah.
a great. That'd be a great envision. That'd be good for the holiday season, like maybe like a November type of shit, or back in the Royal
Mhm.
Rumble. That'd be a perfect time to cash in on the Royal Rumble night.
I'm gonna have to tweet that because we know Triple H is on Twitter and he checks Twitter.
Yeah.
He looks at it
Yeah.
during the show, sir.
I wonder now if he has ever stumbled to a Weebs of the Ring tweet. I wonder if he ever stumbled into that.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be
Look,
dope.
well, we know that he's hang 'em high,
So-
which hang 'em high. Don't be lying. You know you're Triple H.
I'm really curious to see now next week. We definitely know for SmackDown we're gonna have Bailey versus Tiffany for a match now for sure because of this
Mhm.
turn events. But I'm really curious to see how their dynamic will switch on air with Tiffany and I. I'm really curious to see because the next conversation we're gonna talk about really leads into how the wrestlers always look back to the B-roll. Hey guys,
Mhm.
last week Kevin, I had this. So I'm really curious to see if Nia's gonna also do the same thing. Nia could be like, hey Tiffany, I saw this playback from the video package of my match, and I saw you talking to a ref that he was gonna cash in. What the fuck was that about? I hope that
Yeah.
happens. It will look so good in storytelling and in the reality of storytelling of wrestlers. It will work very well if that actually gets talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, see,
Mhm.
that's why I like how they're taking time to tell a story with this. So it seems more realistic knowing how they're both friends and knowing how Nia has, like, eyes in the back of her head at all times looking at Tiffany, knowing how now she has a target on her back and Tiffany could take that championship away from her at any time. And at the end of it, it's going to be Nia's fault for her losing the relationship, losing the championship to begin with. I'm actually, yeah, actually that does make sense. Losing the relationship too, because they
Yeah.
wouldn't be friends after that anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. Because I mean, that's just the nature of the Triple H era of booking. It's I want you guys to wait and see when I book things to happen and storylines to progress.
And
This is just a night of me trying to make impressions. So I hope you guys are
and
strapping in
two,
for it.
they're not the
See
only
if we
group that's having issues, having cracks. Cause we will talk
Mhm.
about a certain group, Eitan Anda, having
Excuse me.
issues on their
Oh, yeah.
relationships.
Mm.
Yes.
But yeah, so moving on, transitioning from that, we had a wonderful, beautiful face to face for our WWE title picture. Because again, we're building up to Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. This is our last little stop or last little, story progression with all this. And this is one thing I always appreciate with Cody and his feuds. Because, like, whenever they start, and especially like right now with his titles, whenever they start, they kind of start off very kind of cold. It's just like, okay, the story with AJ Styles, okay, this will be a good match, but like, where's the story and all this? And
Yeah.
like, because you kind of see this with like, especially looking online and all that with everything. It's like, okay, where's the story? Where's the thing for us to grasp onto? And like, Cody does such a good job of making things personal. And like we saw that with AJ, we saw that a little bit with Logan Paul. Obviously, the whole stuff with Solo, I mean, that's just bloodline related shenanigans right there. But like the stuff with Kevin Owens, because like there's a lot of history with that. And I remember, just earlier tonight when me and Vash were watching SmackDown, I had made a comment that Kevin Owens was actually like one of the people that kind of drove Cody to meet people like the Young Bucks, for example. And indirectly, Kevin Owens is kind of responsible for AEW, but that's neither here nor there. But a very interesting conversation they had about like their friendship, about how like, Kevin noticed, Cody's knees apparently bad and all that stuff. And like there was the question of when one of us beats the other, will we still be friends after that? So guys, I want you to kind of like talk about that. Like I want to start with you with that one drop. Like just that statement alone with like would we still be friends if if one of us beat each other? And like how do you feel about that statement just going in with this story going forward?
I mean, it definitely adds like a lot of other layers to explore if they hypothetically go down that direction. Because at first, we're looking at it as like friendly competition between the both of them. Because obviously, Cody said that he earned this title opportunity because he's done so much for him, which makes sense because he did. So I understand why the match is happening. But you also have to figure out in your head maybe things might feel a little bit different once these two actually go head to head with one another and we actually see these two competing in this match on tomorrow's pay-per-view. Because sometimes like when you're put in a position where you have these two people going head to head with one another, sometimes you start seeing like how they truly feel like deep down inside, where you see that character really start to come out. So you never know if you start seeing that side of KO coming out, where you actually start seeing like his true feelings behind everything, and then you also see Cody's true feelings behind everything, and then depending on the result of that could definitely show us like how the relationship could evolve from that, which is one of the things that I personally love about this feud, because it's just very interesting to see exactly like, are they going to turn KO heel? Are they going to keep him face? What's really going on here? And I like how there's some realism added in here, especially when you throw into what we saw last week, where it was showing us that, KO's whole history of turning on people, and how he brought up today that, him and Cody never really had that sort of relationship. But then Cody bringing up things where it's like, oh, I had the whole attraction on me when I came back at WrestleMania 38, although around 2 years ago, and how I was the topic of conversation. and how KO had that match with Steve Austin. That was a really big highlight for him, and how he main evented 2 WrestleManias in a row. So it's just really interesting to see, like, could we still be friends after this? Like, at first we're having a friendly competition, but now there's a lot of heat getting thrown in here. So it just really goes to show that, okay, are things going to be different from us moving forward? Like, are we actually going to be able to, chill and sit down and just have a good time with one another after this match? Or are we going to look at each other differently once we start seeing that true side from that person, which is something that I'm interested to see if they go down, because I'm like 50-50 on this, because at the same time I could see KO showing that true side of him again, because it's been displayed for quite some time. And if there's any viewers, I'll just say the same thing I said a couple seconds ago. When you get into a match between these two people that start off as friends, sometimes you see their true instinct come out, so that could possibly factor in how the relationship goes from here. So I don't know. I mean, I'm 50-50 on it. Could he turn heel? Sure. Could he not? Sure. I feel like personally they're just adding that fire in there just to add some sort of like heat to the match, to really draw people in, because people are gonna be like, oh, is he gonna turn? Is he gonna turn? Is he gonna turn? But part of me in my head, I'm like, are they going to turn KO and Randy at the same time? I mean, realistically, it would make sense because, well, I only say it makes sense mainly because when it comes to competition of heels, especially when it comes to main eventers on SmackDown, very lacking. Not that many competition for Cody when it comes to like those top heels to work with. Like, let's say hypothetically, if KO turns heel, okay, you got somebody Cody can work with, and even somebody that LA Knight could potentially work with when he comes to his reign as United States champion. And with Randy turning heel, I'm not going to say hypothetically, because that's pretty much a given at this point. That's a top program for Cody to work with, so it could definitely happen. But I don't know if they're going to turn Randy and KO heel. I'm sort of leaning towards KO just adding that whole spice into the match just to draw a lot of people in. But realistically, Randy's only going to be the one turning heel. But they could very well do it, because I'm all here for character changes as long as it works and it helps the person evolve. So those are my overall thoughts on like what you said on that.
I like how you brought up Cody trying to like bring out the true Kevin Owens in a way, or like getting his true feelings out, because like he tried to do that tonight by being like, you're very angry at things, and like you said, like Cody had brought up the whole WrestleMania 38 thing, like main eventing with Stone Cold and all that, and like Cody's trying to bring that out of Kevin Owens, and in a way I feel like this is kind of like to Cody's detriment, because he's trying to bring out KO. He's trying to bring out like the old Kevin Owens, like kind of thing, like, giving us that prize fighter again. Because like Kevin kind of like took a back seat for a long time. And I think Cody kind of realized that, and he's trying to like bring that back out of Kevin. Yeah. And like even just him like saying, oh, I don't want the title shot at all or anything. It's like, okay, well, no, you're getting the title shot because, you deserve it. You earn it. It's just like, well, no, I don't. I feel like I don't. It's just like, well, no, stop that mindset. Like, stop that, Kevin. You can do this. You can compete for this top title and all that. Yeah. So, like, yeah, I think, again, could be to Cody's, undoing, at least in kayfabe wise, but it's like, yeah, Cody's really trying to just bring out the old Kevin Owens again, trying to like reignite that fire in a way. So I like how you pointed that out too, because it's like I thought that too today when like Cody was saying all that. But yeah, so Vash, I'm gonna bring it up to you, because we watched this together, and like we were both just kind of, we weren't really talking during this time. We were just kind of, I think we were just. Yeah.
I would say analyzing or trying to understand what his promo is trying to deliver. Like, all right, cool. Talk your shit, but talk your shit. Let me understand what your message is. And because once KO say, yeah, man, we gotta talk about your knee, yeah, man. Really gotta discuss it. And I remember you and me were like, exactly, Kevin. What the fuck you talking about? Cause I didn't hear no reports of your knee or Cody or this getting injured these past couple weeks. So I wonder if this is for like the kayfabe vibe, or I wonder if this is
Probably.
more for the story
Mhm.
aspect that he actually is injured. Cause him saying, "Oh yeah, I've been getting messages and texts from people saying that Cody has been with the training room. People has been saying the medical. He's been in more for than an hour." I'm like, people are just stalking Cody and literally just telling KO what the hell is going on with Cody. Like,
Yeah, I
people are
don't
that
think so.
desperate. What the fuck's going on? For story aspect, that's one. Two, I love my favorite thing throughout this whole promo. Like I said earlier during our night conversation, Cody literally saying what everyone was asking and thinking last week when when KO literally grabbed the belt, and if Cody didn't turn, would KO have smacked him with his belt? And I love
Yeah.
how Cody asked that, because that's literally showing that the wrestlers have the liberty to check last week match or last week type
Yeah.
of video package or see what the fuck they missed because they was in the ring and they need to know what they didn't catch. So that was one of my favorite things that Cody brought up, because they're like, yes, bitch, that exactly, you should have brought that up, because everyone was thinking
Mhm.
that, everyone was like, wait, KO could have hit him. And I love how KO's like, yeah, that was not the case, man. I'm telling you, I ain't gonna do that. Fuck everyone that I betrayed, except Kofi. Kofi's still the nicest human beings, yo. Team Kofi,
Yeah. Sorry about
team,
that, Kofi.
love Kofi. All the different type of love in all different languages, except fuck Sami Zayn and everyone else he betrayed. And I'm like, damn. I wonder if Xavier Woods is watching this home and be like, fuck Kofi too.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even like. Oh, that could just add more fuel to that fire.
Yep.
Ah, I don't want the New Day to break up. Dang it. Don't.
Well,
I
one
don't
thing I
want
will say, what Vash pointed out, and an observation I've noticed on SmackDown specifically,
that. Mhm.
is there's a lot of parallels between certain characters when it comes to the whole message of, are we still going to be friends after everything's all said and done? Because we see that with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. We see that with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. We're seeing that with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. So it's nice how there's like similar storylines, obviously not the same context, but there's like similar messages being thrown in there when it comes to
Mhm.
showcasing, like, is this person a true friend or are they fake, sort
Right.
of message that's being set across. And I actually really like that there's like a certain theme that's being focused on SmackDown when it comes to certain people.
Well, especially with Cody, because I mean,
Yeah.
in a way, I mean, he's kind of in a carrying cross kind of thing,
Yeah.
because like
I
everybody
also
that
like,
Cody's been, yeah.
oh, the only last thing I was gonna say is I also like how they're self-aware now in
Hmm.
this administration,
Oh my
instead of
God,
just
yes.
being like numb to everything. Like, they actually are aware of everything that's going on, and they actually
Hmm.
address things that people talk about online, which again adds even more evidence of
It does.
Triple H
It
showing that he pays attention to
it
Twitter.
improves the
Yeah.
storytelling and it makes it more real, where people say, yeah, the show's scripted. Yeah, before it was a lot more scripted because of the old regime was being as bad as it was. Now that it's storytelling, the long-term booking, how Triple H has always advocated and expressed to the audience, to the press conference, like, hey, our goal is to tell stories. Yes, wrestling will always be important, but story is what drives the entertaining aspect of who you want to root for, the hero, the heel.
Hmm.
I mean, the hero or the heel. Um, Kind of relating back to the story of KO and, well, Cody. Another story, as earlier today, the kickoff, we had Drew McIntyre and we had with CM Punk. My girl was asking me about who's right here. I'm like, technically they're both right, babe. Drew was there during the pandemic, entertaining everyone,
Yep.
and he's not wrong that calling everyone is behind CM Punk because of nostalgia. He's not wrong about that. Could he say it better and nicer? Yes. But Drew is angry because once CM Punk came back, that's what everyone was caring for, and he became a, like, a secondary character or inventing a worse word, an NPC, and that's hurts for somebody who's literally been entertaining everyone during the pandemic or the worst year of the worldwide recently during a pandemic of the world, kind of shutting down. So for
Hmm.
Drew and everything, people understand. He's not wrong. Is he wrong a bitch for taking a bracelet and for CM Punk going like seeing red? Yeah, that's different. But is he wrong for speaking facts? No, he's definitely right. So with relating back to this, is KO his action where he turns down the mic down and tells something between the blur of the lines where nobody can read the lips there?
Yeah.
Like, yo, when he asks, like, hey, are we gonna still be friends after this? Bro got mad. Like, I wonder what he said. In my head, I'm like, bitch, of course gonna be wearing friends, but I'm gonna kick your ass tomorrow, bitch. And left. I feel like that's what he said. Like, come on, of course gonna be friends. If you win, I'm not gonna like you for that night or some shit. Like, but I love how
Hmm.
he played it off to look like he was angry or pissed off. Like, are you really asking me that? If we're gonna be friends after this, come on, are you dead ass asking me? Like, that's what that felt.
Yeah. And like, well, one thing that was said on commentary, and somebody, correct the words I'm gonna say here in a second, but I think it was Michael Cole said something on commentary, like trying to give reasoning to why Kevin, threw the microphone and whispered to Cody. He said something along the lines of, "Oh, we know what happened the last time Kevin's friend said something similar like that." And I'm trying to sit here and think, okay, who was he referencing? Because like he didn't use a
Yeah,
name.
he did it.
The last the last friend I can think of was like during this whole Cody Rhodes kind of thing was like Randy Orton. But then like I think back just a little further, and it's like, well, maybe it could be like Sami Zayn because like there's the whole thing with like when Jey Uso went to Raw and Kevin was just like, "Hey, I'm not cool with this because of what the bloodline has done to me, and especially Jey." So
Yeah,
like maybe there's like a hint of betrayal with that because of that situation. I don't know. Like maybe I misheard what Cole actually said on commentary, but I don't know. It made me think of, okay, who is he trying to reference? Because like the only other person I can think of, since he really didn't name drop them, it was Chris Jericho. But like
that's what
then I started thinking,
that's what I was thinking. That it could have been Chris
yeah,
Jericho, but then if you name drop him last Friday, why wouldn't it be a problem to
yeah,
drop him again this
That's what I'm
Friday?
saying. You shouldn't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
They're
But
showing
then like,
footage and everything.
but then like, then I start thinking back to that back time, and just like, wait, no, Kevin was the one that betrayed Chris. But like that's all beside the point. But like, what do you guys think Kevin said to Cody when he like whispered in his ear?
What I'm intrigued is that tomorrow we having a tape during the pre-show of a conversation that Corey Graves spoke with KO and Cody, and I feel like that may answer
Oh, he
our.
did. I thought it was Randy.
No, it was with KO and Cody having a little small interview with Corey Graves, so maybe it's like a 20-minute interview that
Oh,
they're gonna
okay.
show tomorrow during the pre-show. But most likely they have
Okay.
another one with Randy and Gunther. That most likely is another one that,
Oh yeah.
but didn't promote that one tonight. But I'm really intrigued if that's gonna explain a bit because for KO to be angry, throw the mic off, and literally just share something. That's the last time we saw somebody that did that to Cody was The Rock. So I wonder if that's
Mm.
also something that they was trying to relate to, like show the intense or show the, probably foreshadowiness. I don't know what they were trying to lead to or what Triple H is trying to do with this, but I don't really have any crazy other theory other than jokes. So that's all I got. How about you, Drop?
Right.
No, I think I pretty much like gave my whole entire explanation earlier about my whole feeling behind the sort of direction they could be going down with this. So I already have everything I said.
All right, great. Well, if that's the case, let's kind of move away from our WWE title picture. Let's move away from our, headline stories. We got some mid-card action going on. We had what? We got three matches to kind of talk about, and make mention of. And our first one, we had a U.S. title open challenge. Now, with this SmackDown being pre-taped in Germany, there was going to be spoilers everywhere on the internet and all that. And unfortunately, I got spoiled. This was the one spoiler I had from SmackDown, is I got spoiled on who the surprised, or I guess who, you know, answered the open challenge for the U.S. title.
Yeah.
So we end up having LA Knight versus Ludwig Kaiser. So Ludwig Kaiser got a really good pop for tonight. So kudos on you, dude. Like, good job.
As you
Being
should,
in your home country and all that.
Exactly. I hope you do in your home country. Like, I was even telling my girl that if the company WWE ever goes to the country of Colombia, I will be there first flight out, and I'll be there as press as well. I'm like, I'm Colombian. That is literally my genes, and I could speak in Spanish. I will be impressed. Would I ask questions in Spanish? Hell no. That's a hell no. I will not be asking questions in Spanish. But to see Ludwig Kaiser be the open challenge, I'm very impressed. Shocked, because our theory last week for who was gonna be the open challenge answering this was Giovanni Vinci. That's who I honestly thought it would have been.
So that was an interesting kind of shout from you guys with like Giovanni Vinci. Which, I mean, we got a video package this week saying, oh, he's coming next week. So hey, that's cool.
And guys, it's not his return, it's his arrival.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool, dude. I mean, hell, what if maybe LA Knight will have another open challenge and that's when he comes out, which that's fine. Like, if LA Knight kind of starts doing the whole John Cena thing with the U.S. title, like doing weekly open challenges, I'm all for it.
Same. I don't mind, because this will give his legacy, his own type of legacy to LA Knight. So I am really happy for me that. By the way, Ludwig Kaiser getting a German pop, it was well deserved. Even the German audience was loving Ludwig. Even LA Knight was impressed. He even acknowledged that. He said, "Yo, my guy, really good. The crowd loves you." Like, he even was impressed by that. Like, oh, okay, Ludwig, you got some pop in you. So that's a good, type of follow up. I really like the camera shot when Ludwig went to do the running drop kick to the steps. That was something that we have not seen in a while. Even when me and Walkers were watching, we said, "It, damn, it's been since SummerSlam since we saw the over the head shot when Braun Breaker always does the running spear." So we haven't seen that in a while since he hasn't had a match on live TV on Monday Night Raw. So seeing something similar of the running drop kick from Ludwig, it was a nice, very deliver towards LA Knight. So overall, it was a nice shot for me.
And I mean, again, like this German crowd's hot. So I'm looking forward to Bash in Berlin tomorrow, just for the crowd alone. Like, they might be giving France a run for their money. That's all I'm going to say with that.
I would say right now, out of the international shows, I would say France still top 1. Scotland, I would say, is right now number 3, and I would say Bash in Berlin right now is being number 2.
So far,
yeah.
So far, I also like this beginning like promo battle they had between each other. I like that Ludwig Kaiser kind of brought up the European Championship, because that's something we haven't heard about in a long time.
I know.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. It was just kind of nice. It was just nice hearing that little reference and all that. But Job, what do you think about this match? And I guess the idea of LA Knight doing an open challenge every week. Like, would you be down for something like that?
I wouldn't mind it, because we don't normally see it as much as we used to anymore. It's normally like been pretty empty with that US title for quite some time, until I would honestly have to say, since LA Knight. No, I have to give some credit to Logan too, because he definitely made it like mainstream again, especially when it comes to having that title appear on a show and giving it exposure so people can tune in to the product. So I
Yeah.
definitely have to give some credit to him for that. He's definitely was the one that really brought it out there again, just like how Gunther did with the IC title. But
Hmm.
I'm down with it as long as it makes sense and it's done every so often. One of the things I don't want to see if it's like a weekly thing, because I don't want it to turn into lazy booking where it's like, oh, this is all we have for LA is just open challenges every week. Like, I'd rather it be a thing that happens every so often, and then he gets into a feud, goes on for a little bit, and then he could do it again somewhere else or whatever.
Hmm.
Because I like how they saved LA Knight's career in general, and I'm glad that he's been having proper time, well, having a lot of love put into his character every time we see him come out. So if it happens
Hmm.
occasionally, I'll be okay with it, just not like pretty much just the point where it doesn't get repetitive. I wouldn't want. And I
Yeah.
did really like this match, and I think what really made the match was the crowd, because the crowd really sells a match when you're watching it, because
Hmm.
it goes to show that the crowd's really invested in the match. They actually care for it. They want to watch it. They want to show some emotion. It's almost like you're at a movie theater and you're like watching a movie there, and you see the people that you're watching the movie with having that exact same reaction as you are. So like the theater feels alive as you're watching that film. Because there's been a couple movies that I watched, like Endgame and No Way Home, and even Deadpool and Wolverine recently, where I went there in the theater and the audience felt alive. And it just brings a lot more joy when you're watching these matches, because if you ever have one of those matches where it's just hearing crickets and nothing, it affects the match.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, you can have the
Hmm.
best wrestling in the world happening in that match, but if you don't have the crowd reacting to it, it's not going to really stand out.
It's where the
Yeah.
best wrestle with no with no right hand cam.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so it's like I really liked how, Kaiser was actually, given something to do, because at first, before we were heading into this show, like many months ago, was when it was like first announced, I thought he was gonna have some sort of spot on this card. So I like how they had something like this for him tonight, so he was able to do a little something, because in a way this is kind of like the pre-show before Bash in Berlin really takes off tomorrow. So at least there's something thrown in there for him to do, and it was really good. And I don't know. I don't know if they're really gonna tease bringing back a European Championship. Would it be cool? Sure, but
Hmm.
I rather them get a hold on the championships that they have now before they start introducing more.
Yeah, I don't know how would that work with the European title.
Yeah,
I don't know how would they intertwine that with both shows. Would that be a hopping title? Would this be exclusive for in some way? Like I wonder how would that be.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how it would be either, because I mean, you look at a show or a company like, I mean, again, not to bash another company, but, but when you look at AEW, when they have like they have their main title, their world championship, they have their tag titles, okay, great, awesome. Then they have their trios titles, like some trios, you have
and
some,
you also have Ring of Honor
stables.
randomly appearing on there.
Yeah, you have all the Ring of Honor shit on there.
Yep.
But then you have like three different mid card titles where it's like, okay, you have your international championship, you have your continental championship, and you have your TNT title. It's like, what's the hierarchy of that? Because they keep going back and forth with like which one means more. Like, oh, is
Yeah,
it the one that Okada has? Is it the one that Jack Perry has? Is it the one that Osprey just won like amazingly in freaking in at All In? Like, you kind of start losing
yeah,
value
yeah,
in those prizes.
yeah,
So it's like, if you add something like the European title, into like the WWE scene right now, it's just like, well, where does that go?
yeah.
Um
Right.
and
And then I
that's kind of, yeah, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say if they were to bring back a title, I rather them bring something like the hardcore title back, because at least that separates itself
Hmm.
from the other two mid card titles. But you could continue what you were saying.
Oh no, you're fine. It's just like, again, like having too many titles does kind of devalue just not just the titles themselves, but like kind of devalues like what you're fighting for.
Yeah,
The other title I keep thinking about is that freaking FTW title.
Oh yeah, that was
Like
just weird.
that
yeah.
one, like it because
I think
it
Taz even
came in.
commented on that.
Hmm. Well, like that's the thing, because they never really wanted that to be like a defended title, if I remember
No,
correctly. It was just supposed to be like a vanity title kind of thing
Great
in
question.
AEW.
Great question, Super Dude. Because I was gonna ask that to the team themselves. How? Two questions. How will the hardcore title be very different? And two, how long did the hardcore title last? Do you guys remember, or do we need to search that up?
I was actually looking that up.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
and
while
it
while
wasn't
Drop,
it wasn't that long, I don't
Oh
think.
no. So it says 1998, November 2nd, 1998 it was established, and it retired on August 26, 2022. And I personally believe this was a title mainly made for Mick Foley.
Oh yeah. Well, like that's the thing, because like
yeah,
if I remember correctly, like the story was Vince, like because I think this was also before Mick Foley won the WWE title. But like Vince gave him the hardcore title, and the reason that it's just a like the design of it like is just a busted up WWE title from back then. Like that's the reason it's like that. It's just like, oh well, take this crap title, for your crap division, for the hardcore division and all that. Like, here you go. Here's your WWE title, you
quick
know.
last thing to talk about this U.S. title. Also to talk
Mhm.
about the title itself because he brought the European title. I remember. I feel like the cruiserweight title will also have been a great introduction to bring it back because we have small guys like, you know,
Could have had Ricochet going after that, but he was still around.
yeah, like Ricochet,
Yeah.
like instead of having the speed title, you could have had the cruiserweight title where the small guys
Yeah.
that were actually like, for example, you have to be under 220 pounds or 250 to go for this title, and you have only set amount of people, and you can have a little joke or storyline where somebody that's actually 260 has to lose weight if they actually want to go for the
Hmm.
250 title. So like that'll be a funny story to be involved in. You can have Ricochet, you can have Tozawa. You can have other wrestlers that aren't in the slim side go for that title.
It's funny you bring up like a storyline like that, because there was a storyline like that like back in
And nine?
2003 ish. Nah, this
No,
was like
because
way back.
I think they had one with Great Khali like that where he had to lose weight as well. Or no, not Great Khali.
Uh
It was some other wrestler. I forgot. It was probably is the
so
one that
so
you.
this so this was like back in 2003 ish era, because like this was when like Matt Hardy was trying to be in the cruiserweight division, and he was trying to, I think I want to say he was trying to face Rey Mysterio, but he was trying to face somebody. But like I just remember a segment where he was trying to make weight, and like he like just gets buff, like butt ass naked in the back. Like, I mean, you don't see anything obviously because it's TV, but it's like that's what they're trying to allude to. But it's like he's trying so hard and so desperately to get into that weight class, because in his mind he thinks, oh, if I'm in there, I'll do great because I'm bigger than the kids, but I gotta make weight for it. Um, and I think they did that a little bit with 205 Live for a bit, or at least like when they were
No,
starting
they
the
did.
Cruiserweight Classic. Yeah,
Yeah, they definitely did.
yeah.
I remember that being a
Um,
thing. So overall, cruiserweight, if they bring that back, that would be an interesting storyline. U.S. title open challenge, Aaron versus Louis Kaiser was actually entertaining more than I thought would be. I agree with Drop what he said earlier that the crowd, the audience made the match for what it was, actually hype it up. And for anybody that is not a critic or analyst when it comes to seeing the matches, it's funny when it comes to now noticing things. When the BFT happened, I didn't see Ludwig head actually hit the ground, So I felt like it was like 5 inches off the ground, but they had to play the role like even though they didn't get hit, but they have to pretend they got hit and they're knocked out. And I saw that I'm like, he so missed that so badly, but sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But hey, you know what? You know who doesn't miss? Baron Corbin lately. Like Baron Corbin has been on a hot streak since he, went back to NXT, kind of reinvented himself, and now he's back on the main roster, tagging with Apollo Crews. Him and Apollo Crews had a match against Humberto and Garza, which was pretty good. There were some good spots in this. I don't know that. I like this match, and it was really good. I like mainly Baron Corbin because, like, I struggle finding words for this because, and I know I've talked about the past with Baron Corbin before on here, and Drop, I'm sure you can also kind of appreciate his work right now too, especially where he came from, just from 5 years ago, but. I don't know. I feel like he's kind of in a renaissance of his career right now.
I really love this. As somebody who's a new fan for Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews in the recent years, and I really like how they're working out with Legado de Fantasma a lot better than LWO. So for them to actually get a good storyline between them and actually have them win. No, they actually took the L for this one. It shows that they're getting better booking and not being relying on to only the bloodline storylines and other Cody stuff, like other superstars like Baron Corbin, Apollo Crews are getting their TV time and getting their audience. Even for example, like I got spoiled about this match. Like I saw like 3 spots right before this whole show happened. SmackDown for us to actually watch it on air on the EST side. So to actually see what's happening with this match on air, one of my favorite ones was when Baron Corbin did the springboard flop because of Humberto and Garza, and when Baron Corbin after that did the clothesline on them. It was such a beautiful spot between them. In the beginning of the match, Apollo Crews did a great volley with I think it was Humberto that I saw it was first. It was a great rally between them two. I didn't expect that. All the jumps and the flips and the twists. Yeah. It was really nice coordinated. I was very happy and impressed with them too. And I just love to see Baron Corbin and Apollo, their dynamic growing. Like Apollo reminds me of Sami Zayn, and Baron Corbin reminds me of KO when he gets angry. And Sami Zayn has to tell him, like, hey, here's a Snickers. Because Apollo, at the end... I know I'm kind of jumping to the end, but when Austin Theory and Grayson Darler had to get him, rile up, I love how Apollo tried to comment like, hey, they're not the business. Let's just head. It seems like you need a Snickers. Like, hey, let's go back to our locker room. I'll give you a Snickers, buddy. Let's all come down. Fuck them little 2 white boys. It's okay. Let's talk about it. What's up?
Yeah.
So it felt that energy. I love their dynamic on air. It looks very nice, organic. So that's the highlights of the segment.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I just like it. I like how their dynamic is just like 2 dudes. Like we're kind of doing a slow build with. I mean, again, par for the course when it comes to Triple H WWE, but it's like we're doing just this kind of slow build of their dynamic with each other because like. Right now, they're just cool. They're just cool with each other. They're not like best friends. They're friends though. It's like they're cool with each other. They're gonna have each other's back, and I think tonight kind of showed a little bit more of that too. Because like, yeah, they lost, but like with that backstage segment that Vash had mentioned about, with Apollo being like, "Hey, don't worry about these bozos. Let's just go over here." Like that shows just a little bit more character growth with all that. But yeah, so we had some distractions going on with, Legado being ringside, obviously, with, Electro Lopez and Santos Escobar getting in the way. So I like how this match, too, had some shenanigans going on with it. Like, it wasn't just a clean win for Garza and Humberto. Like, there was some cheating involved, obviously. But Rob, what do you think about all this? Like, how we're kind of moving forward with everything? Because this did have a little bit of a story going into it, but nothing really too juicy to kind of sink your teeth into.
Yeah, I'm just happy in general that Corbin and
Mhm.
Apollo are being cruised. I think that's what I'm taking more. I think that's what I'm taking more out of this whole entire match itself, is the fact that they're actually having screen time on the show. Because I can't even begin to tell you, if this was like 4 or 5 years ago, if you would ever see Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews like on screen, especially with how
Mhm.
they've been treating Apollo Crews recently. You would never imagine seeing them consistently on TV throughout the week, even if it's like a backstage segment. And I really do like the pairing. I think it's blends very well for them. I know a lot of us were saying we didn't really know how they were going to be using Baron Corbin moving forward, but they ended up finding a good use for him. So I'm really happy about that. But I'm honestly, I think what I took away the most was probably what we saw after the match.
Yeah.
Because I know this was something I spoke about last week
Hmm.
that got brought up again, even though they were kind of building it before, they kind of let it slip, and then they started going back on track of it again. And so I'm liking how now it seems like they're fully kicking into gear with this. And I'm really happy, like Cody said, we're actually getting answers from Austin Theory this time, where he's actually telling the audience how he truly feels. Because
I just love how this man respond to him. He's like, bro, hold up, shut
Oh
up,
yeah.
let me talk. You've been talking to me for all this fucking time. Let me fucking talk.
yeah, and I'm mainly like this. See, this is the kind of stuff that like gets me really invested, because this is something I've been very curious about for so long. It's like they keep teasing it, they keep teasing it, they keep teasing it. No progression, no progression. They tease it again. Okay,
Hmm.
we're getting a little more into it next week. Dropped it completely. It almost seems like before we started doing this, Austin Theory completely forgot about what happened.
Yeah.
I think I recall like this was around the time where they lost the titles. They were like really leading into that. And then all of a sudden, oh, that was non-existent. Nothing happened. It's almost like he had that like flash from Men in Black. He completely forgot about everything that happened. But I'm
Hmm.
liking how in the tonight's episode of SmackDown, he's actually being honest with Grayson Waller, showing how he truly feels about their current relationship right now and how things are falling apart. And
Hmm.
even with Grayson saying to him that this is just uh, friendly banter from where I'm from. This is how I am with my friends. You could even tell, like, even though Austin Theory says, everything's fine, you could
Yeah.
tell based on his body language, he didn't really feel this way. And I feel like
Hmm.
this is going to push him over the edge even more, just based on like what's going to be happening moving forward. Because you saw when Corbin confronted Theory back there, while Grayson was saying that, Theory said all this shit, even though in reality he didn't say a damn thing.
He didn't say
So
one
that's,
word. He never spoke a sentence.
yeah. So that's only gonna push him over the edge even more, and it's starting to make me think. Even though I don't know if I can see this match at Bad Blood, but I don't know if they're trying to build to it. This is
They
sort of
have
a
to
match
build
I
up.
see on the SmackDown before Bad Blood. Be
They
honest.
have to
Right.
get they have to get nasty as bad with Drew and CM Punk for them to actually lead up to Bad Blood. Like where there's
Yeah,
tables,
Mhm.
chairs.
that's
Grace has to
yeah,
throw. One of them has to throw each other on the table. Where it has to get actually the ruthless.
yeah.
Where Nick Aldis will be like, all right, I'm tired of y'all bullshit on my show. I'm gonna schedule y'all show. Bad Blood, you're gonna settle it on one-on-one street fight. Like that's my guess of how
Yeah,
it should
I
lead
mean,
up to if they
Mhm.
do go that far.
yeah,
Right.
because I mean, they definitely have a lot of time to build up to it if they want to. Because Bad Blood isn't until October,
Oh yeah,
so
they still got like another month to build into anything.
yeah, which I'm liking how there's a little space in between.
Yeah, they have
Mhm.
But
exactly a good 35 days.
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, I'm glad that they're building into it now, because a lot of people that I see online, they always talk about, who are the future stars in the company. And obviously Braun Breaker gets brought up, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, talking solely on main roster. Yeah. Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Tiffany Stratton,
Hmm.
Lyra Valkyria. And a lot of people also I see on the list every so often is Austin's Theory, but it's not really giving us a legitimate reason to really believe that Theory belongs on that list, only because of the way that he's being portrayed on television. Because if you look at the kind of I was talking about this with Billy at work today, because he brought this up too. He's like, like I said, he just a few seconds ago, he sees all these lists all the time, but you haven't really gave us a legitimate reason to believe in Austin Theory. Do I personally believe he has potential? Sure. But as a viewer of your product, you're not giving me a legitimate reason to believe in him, because you would think after the match he had with Cena, he would be on the top of the mountain right now, but it didn't really look like it did anything to him, which is surprising, because normally if you're in a something with Cena, you skyrocket from there. I mean, look at what it did to LA Knight when he teamed up with him
Yeah.
that year.
Oh,
Like the end of 2023 was probably the best that we've seen out of LA Knight when it comes to just moments alone. And
Mhm.
and if you're paired with Cena, that just tells you that, yeah, Cena wants to put you over. He believes in you. So it's like, you see with Theory, it's
I felt
like,
so bad for
a-
Austin Theory. Like he was.
yeah, it's like
Mm,
and I legitimately feel after that match, he hasn't reclaimed, he hasn't climbed up the mountain ever since, and he's just been flat. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that they actually add something in here that actually makes it compelling for us to actually care about him more, and then whatever happens from here on moving forward, hopefully does wonders to him. Because you got to remember, LA Knight started with Miz. A lot of people didn't buy into that at first, but then after it
Mhm.
happened, a lot of people loved how they told a story with the feud they had and the match that they had as well. So I'm honestly hoping that this does wonders for Theory, because I feel like we talked about many times on our podcast, when it comes to character changes, I feel like Theory definitely needs a character change, because it seems like he's been in the same position for so long. And you even thought
Yeah.
about that with Andrade when he first came back. I was like, are they going to do the same thing with him again? And it kind of felt like that, but now you're going down a proper direction with him. So I want the same thing to happen with Theory too.
Yeah, me too. Because again, ever since that fight with Cena, I mean, he hasn't recovered from
he has
that
not.
at all. You know,
Even John
and
Cena told
I
him
mean,
like, bro, if you
yeah,
if you even win this match, you're not gonna recover. Like, of course I'm paraphrasing, but John Cena told
yeah,
him in that promo. If anybody saw the promo or remember it, John Cena told him, and look what happened. And it's very sad because John Cena is trying to bring the next up and coming wrestlers to the next generation. John Cena loves this company. This is what this company made John Cena who he is today. So he appreciates where he first started from the bottom to now we're here. He appreciates where he first started, and if it's not succeeding for you, Austin Theory, you gotta start up. So like Drop said, I'm excited for this Austin Theory, and like I said, the body language spoke for Austin Theory. When Austin Theory was saying like, yeah, how about you shut up, let me speak, and while Austin Theory was like this and this, I mean, sorry, when Grayson Waller was trying to give his excuses, when he said, "Come on, we're good, right?" Got a hug and everything. Austin Theory was like, "Bro, I ain't having it. I'm still not fucking
yeah,
with you." So I love that Austin Theory did good body language, where it did good facial expression for what he's trying to speak. And I just love how he's literally so like, "You shut up, let me speak. This is my moment. You've been speaking too
hmm,
many for." You've been speaking too many times for too many people for me when I never said a single word out of all the bullshit you said, and I went along with it to not make you look stupid, so people think you're lying for me. So I love how he literally told him what's up.
yeah, oh yeah, and I think another problem too that's been having to be fixed by Triple H is the fact that Theory was kind of a Vince McMahon guy.
Yeah, he was.
Um,
Yeah.
Roman made that
so
pretty apparent too.
yeah, and that kind of that didn't help Theory either too, especially when things started changing. But I kind of like how Triple H has been building him back up from that, because like even when he had like the Money in the Bank contract, because like people were like, oh, he's Triple H doesn't know how to book it, and how are you gonna do this and all that stuff, and like he did what he did with it, but like in a way, it's more of that long-term storytelling with Triple H, because like with that failed cash in and just how Theory was getting like the response towards Theory with everything, like yeah, a lot more people are they're craving that face turn for Theory to come forward, and I mean that'll probably come when we have this eventual tag match with Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews, which I would see Corbin and Crews going over, and that kind of like being the catalyst.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, and that could be happening in the next few weeks. But I don't know. Overall, like this whole segment with like the tag match was really good. I thought
It was.
Yeah.
And like this whole stuff with like Theory and Grayson Waller in the back was also really good. Like again, we're kind of getting back into that story progression and moving forward with the potential turn from these two and all that.
I do want to add that I love how Santos Escobar always be looking like fucking El Jefe. He always be looking fucking like a Chapo with that. I love how me and Joaquin said he looks like a Chapo because of him having to tuck in his shirt, having those khaki gray type of business dress pants, dress shoes, and then having the gold chain and a silver chain outside of the black shirt, making him look like, and he has the sunglasses indoors and having his hair all out. He literally is dressed in the part of a Chapo.
I love it. I love it so much.
I love it.
Dude, it's all the tuck shirt. It's all the tuck shirt. That's what it is. Oh man. But speaking of things that I really like and speaking of things that are really cool. Oh boy. We had Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes round 4. Pretty damn good match.
Oh, so good.
I don't know which one I prefer between like this one and like their other 3.
Personally,
but I mean, yeah.
Personally, to me, it seems like
that's tough.
I mean, personally, to me, it seems like each match is better than the previous one.
Yeah, but I feel like the first one is still my favorite. Like, if you're asking me a favorite, like one that will go back, I'd say number 1 and number 4 is top 2.
I feel like I feel like once we get the battles all done, I feel like we could probably rank them better.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah,
because then we'll go to this every week.
Oh yeah, I think that'll be a great type of video that we could do. Once we have their feud done, we can have a little ranking, like best match out of the best out of 6 or best out of 7 matches out of them. If they actually do that, that'd be great. Where we can actually have a little video of it, like
tier list.
Gear list, yeah.
We could do a tier list.
Shit, I've never done a tier list. That'd be good. Oh shit, I got hype about that little tier list. Look, first Carmelo versus Andrade tier list. That'd be amazing. Round 1.
I would just have to rewatch them again before I do it.
Yeah.
Same here. Of course, that is our homework to do if we are going to do a tier list for sure. But overall, by the way, the match how it started, round 4 was fucking amazing. I love how Carmelo was standing outside the ring. He's like, all right, I'm ready for the bullshit. Let's go. And I love how he just jumps inside the ring. The match goes, and they're just going at it. And then, like, literally 20 seconds later, outside the ring, fucking Aranje does a corkscrew. Quick twist corkscrew to fucking Carmelo.
So beautiful.
It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Oh man, they did not stop this whole match. Like they kept going, even during the slow moments. Like they were just going at it. It was really good. Like, and Andrade with like the strength feats in this, like that deadlift suplex thing that he did.
One arm
I struggled trying to think of what the name was. What?
The one arm too, like that
oh, yeah.
grab of the deadlift suplex, he literally grabbed him with one arm. If people need to go back, I'm strong. I could never pick up my brother like that, and we're almost the same weight.
Oh, no.
But I need to train myself to do that. But Andrade just to pick up Carmelo with that one arm and literally just get him over to do the suplex, Like that was just amazing. I didn't really, not saying that the wrong term. I'm saying like I didn't expect that, but just to be whelmed or
Hmm.
shocked in the presence of what I just saw, it's like fucking hell. Like Andrade is the strongest man. Like this man is committed to the craft, and I love how he got a small pop in Germany. So I love that. No type of
Hmm.
booze and everything, and people was loving this round 4 over there in Berlin. I'm like, yes, you guys should be
Oh
loving this.
yeah.
This is the type you guys should be giving this hype for too, because this is round 4 of a good ass feud.
And especially like again, like we're doing, I mean, similar spots obviously, like that springboard,
Spanish fly.
Spanish fly and all that. Yeah, like I mean we're still doing, similar spots and all that, but like oh my god, I still eat them up too. Like especially, the double moonsault thing that Andrade
Oh,
does,
so good.
and just like some of the counters too that Carmelo had, like the code breaker he did, some of the
Oh
super
yeah.
kicks and all that. Um Man, it's just really good. And I kind of started mentioning this too when we were watching Vash, and so I'm gonna turn this with Drop too. It's like because we had mentioned, oh, maybe they're gonna start doing like an official best of 7 series or best of 5 series or whatever. But like, part of me, I'm kind of glad we're not like getting like an official part of it. They're just kind of transitioning into that
It's to
just
where
from
it
their
cooks,
matches.
and I love how they let it
Hmm.
go organically. Where I love, I hate it when promotions or studios hype shit up, but then they
Hmm.
have to take things out because somebody got fired or things didn't go as planned. So I love how they're just letting things cook as it goes and seeing the organic fans reaction and audience tweets and the live audience is kind of dictating the show in a way of how their matches is going, and I love that because Triple H is letting
Yeah.
them cook. He's letting them give their time. All right, guys, you got 10 minutes. Go do your shit. Go this is round 4. Go have at it, and I love that because we might have a round 5. We might have a round 10. We might have a round 12 by next year, and I'm okay with that as long as they change things up and they could add stipulation. By the time round 6 comes out, they could have a stream match because right now we have 4 matches that are just regular pin matches. We have to slowly start adding some type of stipulations now.
Hmm. And we'll probably get some in like Bad Blood and all that, but yeah, Job. I want to kind of like transition back to you, like this whole like idea of these like best of 5, best of 7 series. How do you feel about like this kind of almost seamless transition into that? Because again, like they never really officially announced anything. It's just like okay, Andrade's 2-1 now against Carmelo, and like after tonight, they're 2-2 now. So how you
Yeah.
feeling about like how we've been like building with all this?
I like you guys said, I like how it's being done organically, so at least it's not like a set series of matches that we see like
Hmm.
every single week. At least we know that there's legitimate reasons why these matches are happening. And I also like how this also gives them like something to do because
Yeah.
it's better than not having them on SmackDown, especially with the kind of superstars that they are. You kind of want to have them on the show,
Yeah.
especially Andrade, because I really wasn't worried about Carmelo that much because I eventually saw Carmelo, you know, getting to where he needs to be. I wasn't really that worried about him. It was mainly Andrade because that was
Hmm.
the main reason why he left the company to begin with, because he wasn't being booked properly and he wasn't really given opportunities that he wanted. So at least with this, you're using one of the best things that both of these guys are good at, their wrestling abilities. And Andrade is a great wrestler, and I like how we're seeing that within these 4 matches. So it starts getting the audience invested in these two whenever they come out, rather than not knowing who they are and just being completely silent all the way in between. Like, at least gets people invested in them, knowing how they're a main attraction on these shows within the week.
Yeah.
And I think the end result of this personally,
What's up?
and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that noticed that, because I think I've seen a couple of people bring this up as well. But I think the end result of this is probably going to be um LA Knight's next challenger for his US title.
Yeah. And it's more than likely going to be Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah,
you
which
know?
I personally see taking the belt off of him when the time comes.
Yeah. And I'm also glad to drop that you brought up the idea of like there's a reason behind everything because like from last or not last week's match, it was like what 2 weeks ago they number 3 was
Yeah.
where like Carmelo won because here's the thing, like the first two matches Andrade won pretty decisively in
Yes.
those if I remember correctly. But like match 3 was won by like a roll up basically. Like it was during like some quick pinning combinations, but Carmelo Hayes got Andrade very quickly and he started being a sore winner and all that. So like there was the reasoning behind match 4 happening. And then after during match 4 and just how it ended with Andrade dropping his head right onto the exposed turnbuckle. Now there's a reason, not only just because the series is basically tied up, but now there's even more reason to have a match 5 because it's like, okay, hold on, there's a bit of an asterisk here with your win, Carmelo. Like, yeah, you won, but there was some chicanery going on. Like there was some shenanigans going on with like that turnbuckle and all that. So like again, I like how we're having reasons for these rematches, especially with like because that's the thing. Andrade beat Carmelo twice.
Yep.
Like he didn't have to face him again, but he did, and now they're facing each other even more. So yeah, there's reason behind this, and even beyond that, I mean, who's to say like okay, I'll say this, if it was and y'all can think whatever way with this, but if it was gonna be Andrade that went over in this feud that like ends it, because I do see Carmelo ending it. I feel like him being on top is where we're getting with this. But like if it ends up being like, oh, Andrade's the one that goes up on top, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Instead of the US title, because like I would rather Andrade not lose to LA Knight. Not that's nothing against LA Knight because again he's one of my boys and all that. Have Andrade go after Cody.
Yep.
Like even if it's just on a SmackDown, like
I agree.
have him at least have that
See-
opportunity.
See, at least that's fresh and new. That's something that at least I don't know if
I'm
that
okay.
happened in AEW. Did it?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Did it happen?
I'm okay if Carmelo goes for the U.S. title, and I'm okay for Andre to go for Cody's title. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
sounds
did they
very
ever have
reasonable.
any? I'll ask Watkins this question. Did Cody and Andrade ever have any sort of interactions on AEW or no? Actually, no. Wait, I think they have.
I don't
Actually,
think
no.
so.
I'm
think
thinking of
they
Malachi.
did.
I'm thinking of Malachi. I don't know if they have.
so.
Let me look it up. I'll just.
Yes,
Yeah,
see,
I want to say
see
they at
if
least
you
had
search.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Cause I saw AEW during the pandemic, so I know they were there at the same time.
Oh, it says Cody Rhodes versus Andrade. I think this. Oh, they did have a match.
Okay, so they have a match. So
Okay.
then his third. So they can build off that. They've been mentioning
Yeah.
AEW stuff without saying their name, except he
Oh.
did drop their name actually the first time
Wait,
in his podcast.
this
of
was
what do you want to talk about?
this
So that's
was
funny.
no. This was actually the flaming table spot that Cody put Andrade through.
Oh, that
the
was
famous-
him. I
Oh.
remember. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Fuck
All
yes.
right. All right.
They definitely have
Hell
his
yeah.
third for sure. They could definitely do a match like that again. I don't know if WWE would do a flaming spot, but yes, maybe on Netflix.
Oh, I'm
maybe,
pretty
perhaps?
sure. No, I can see them doing that.
But
Yeah.
yes, for me, Andrade
Again, maybe
versus
maybe on
Cody, yes.
Netflix. So
Yeah.
yeah. Oh man, but yeah, just it was another awesome match. Like
Oh yeah.
I really liked it. I thought it was good. Sounds like you guys thought it was really good too. Can't wait to see what happens after this. So I think, I mean, overall SmackDown I thought was pretty good this week. Nothing too like exciting or too like big happening, but at the same time, it was a pretty solid show. Solid action, solid builds going into Berlin. Like nothing was really just like drastically bad or really dragged the show down. I don't know. Everything was just really rock solid.
Yeah.
Vash, what did you think overall?
What do I think overall for this SmackDown? There's one thing that we didn't mention because since it was a video package, I do want to give a highlight too. It was for Jade and Bianca video package talking about their fight versus Alba Fine and Alba Dawn tomorrow. I really like that. It was very solid. One of the best promo package that they have had for their story and why they was hunting for the titles and what the titles mean for them. So I like it. It felt actually serious. The pure duality between both of them, explaining why they're hunting the title and what it means for them and what it means that to trust other people within the industry. And I like the Carmelo Andrade round 4 was amazing, and I like NIA versus Michin. That was a nice, beautiful highlight for them because Michin, this was her third or her second title match. Her first one was, I believe, in the beginning of the year versus Io Sky, and I believe the other one was with Bailey. So that would be pretty interesting that if we get a fourth one by the end of the year. Congrats to Michin overall for doing what she's been doing.
Yeah, yeah. So what about you, Drop? How'd you sorry, I have to wake you up from your nap that Vash started you on with the women's title picture, women's tag title picture, excuse me. But what do you think of SmackDown overall tonight?
I thought it was a very solid show. It definitely gave me some things to sink my teeth into when it came to certain stories that they were telling, like with KO and Cody, and you also have what's going on at Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, and also with Nia Jackson, Tiffany Stratton. So I think it was like well rounded. It did what it needed to do. Nothing super crazy, but it did it did what it needed to do.
Okay, perfect. Well, hey, you know what, everybody? That was SmackDown, and don't worry, that's not the show tonight. We're not done yet. Sorry, guys. You're gonna have to stay just a little bit longer because we gotta talk about very briefly Berlin tomorrow. We gotta give the audience some predictions for Bash in Berlin tomorrow because we got 5 matches going on. Good old 5-match card as WWE likes to do with these B shows. So let's go down the card. Let's give our, predictions, maybe quick reasons why we are going with our predictions. So let's start off, first of all, with what Drop is looking forward to the most tomorrow night.
The most things excited for. The thing that can't have him stay awake until tomorrow. He's going to be there at Go in Berlin, Germany, and be the most excited that he is to see the witches and his favorite 2 girls of Jade and Bianca, right? Drop?
Of course. even my own dog's falling asleep.
No. See, your dog loves this match. But Drop, you know what? I'm going to start with you. Who do you think is going to win this match between the champions Alba Fire and Isla Dawn taking on Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair?
I feel like Jade and Bianca's going to win this match only because I wanted to add more to their story because I'm going to be completely honest, and I spoke about this before. I want them to eventually have a story that's more than the tag titles, and I feel like the only way for us to really reach the next chapter of that is to have the tag titles involved. That way it builds to a moment between both of them that starts to enter the next chapter of the Jade and Bianca story where things really start getting personal. And I feel like personally, I mean, as much as I love Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, they're not really doing anything with the titles right now. That's just a prop. I mean, that's kind of why, like, I have like very little interest in the tag titles because I've been there since they were first created. And Sasha and Bailey, they wanted to make those titles feel important, and they did a good job at it at first. Same with a couple other people that followed, but after a while, especially before the Triple H era that we're in, they just felt flat. Nobody cares about them. You even see the reactions to people in the shows. Whenever a match happens, people don't care. So that's why I'm hoping you can make a compelling story out of this with Jade and Bianca. Got to give Bianca something to work with because she's been absent in the main event scene, especially when it comes to like the main titles on either Raw and SmackDown. So I'm hoping they can create some sort of interesting storyline with this because it definitely needs it, especially if you want to build up Jade as a performer with Bianca, because more than likely, you know, that's going to turn into a feud. It's going to be a one-on-one match. We don't know who's going to be turning on who, even though I feel like Bianca as a heel would be interesting because we haven't seen that till NXT. But
Yeah.
just for the sake of the match itself, I'm just going to say Jade and Bianca, and I'm just hoping it stems to something that makes it compelling.
Okay. All right. I can dig that. What about you, Vash? I kind of see you've written some of your predictions here in the notes. Looks like you're going a separate direction from Drop here.
So, I'm gonna give you, for anybody that's watching our first time, our predictions portion. Vash likes to give his heart and story. My heart, I would like to give it the Witches. Abba Fire and Asla Dawn, because I would love to see them still trying to succeed in the main roster, since they're still not getting a pop as a lot of times they do whenever they appear. A lot of the fans are not grown to them yet, even though in the IWC, a lot of fans love Abba Fire. No, Asla Dawn. A lot of people love Asla Dawn for many reasons that you can find out why online. But for story purposes, I agree with Drop 100%. That it will add more to Jade and Bianca for the tag titles to mean something. It will explain why it means the titles to be on a main event scene or on a PLE. Because even Drop said this earlier. I mean, even Watkins said this earlier when me and him were watching. We have not had the tag titles of the men's in Raw and SmackDown defending a PLE in a long time. But we have had the women's tag titles defending on a PLE. This is the second time. It was the first time in Scotland for the Clash of the Castle, and now tonight, tomorrow for Bash of Berlin. So that's 2 times that the PLE is being defended from the women's tag titles. But we need to remember that the tag titles have been defended on Raw and SmackDown as its own type of main event scene or its own hype scene. So it's still, story purposes aspect. But the tag titles of the women's division is kind of hopping from 3 Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So their way to make it feel important is PLE, and I don't mind it. Story purposes, I vote for Jade and Bianca. From heart, I go for the Witches.
All right. Perfect. And I'm going to keep mine short and sweet. I'm just going to go with Jade and Bianca for the similar reasons Drop said. I guess my only addition is I could see the breakups. So like the more I think about like Jade and Bianca breaking up, the more I kind of see it starting kind of like how Eddie and Ray did, where like they were tag champions and then they decided, okay, you know what, WrestleMania is coming up, why don't we have a match against each other? Let's see what happens. Let's see who the better man is, kind of like a friendly competition. And then it ends up devolving into I hate you, and then eventually, your son is actually my son, and then like you have to have a whole custody of the child match, and it's like, well, we won't do that with Jade and Bianca, but like you could get the same, like almost a similar like heat with that, I guess. But yeah, I mean Jade and Bianca, because again, like I do like Alpha Fire, love Isla Dawn, but they're not getting any reaction with the crowd, which sucks.
No.
And it's just like, even if you have them go over here, it's just like, well, they felt directionless anyways with the titles. Just, take it off of them for a bit and have them do more things.
Which I hope, if they do lose tomorrow,
things.
have them do more things. Have them still gain and get loved by the audience slowly so they could get back to the main event scene and have these tag titles once again. Because, again, we always have spoken about tag titles should be won by tag teams. And Asla Dawn and Alpha Fire are an actual team compared to Jade and Bianca, who just got put together recently and are becoming a team. So it's like it feels better to the correct answer should go to the witches. But who will give more light to these tag titles are technically Jade and Bianca. That's what it is, or technically the
Yeah.
big two.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, man. So, from one tag match to another tag match, we have mixed match action. We have Dirty Ass Dom and Liv versus Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Vash, I'm going to start with you on this one. Who do you think's going to win and why?
The one thing I'll say is be careful, Watkins. Remember, Liv Morgan came at Michael Cole today because he told Rhea Ripley last month at the SummerSlam kickoff, the world champion. You didn't call her tonight during our prediction. Liv, the world heavyweight champion of the woman division. You just call her Liv. So just saying, she might
Okay.
come at you saying that you didn't treat her with the same respect out here as our other girls here. Just saying.
I'm going to keep it PG and just say Liv can come after me.
Of course. Maybe you're doing all this on purpose as a game to get her attention.
Respectfully.
Of course.
Respectfully, you know, of
Respectfully.
course, you know,
Uh,
unlike Bailey earlier, who was disrespectfully, but that's neither here nor there.
But my vote, I must put it simple to the Turd Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, who keeps calling themselves not the bad guy. They are what they is, and if you want to call them bad guys, they will become the bad guys in your dreams, is what they've been telling you guys. So I would love to see Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, Dirty Ass Dom and Liv to do this mixed tag. I'm very excited to see what the type of dynamic they will be, what type of shenanigans will be happening tomorrow. So I'm really excited overall of where the turn of events or the tail of the tape will be. Other than that, the Terror Twins.
All
And
right,
who would
perfect. Well,
pin? Rhea would pin Liv. That's my guess. Other than that, maybe Dom, maybe Damien to Dom. I feel like doesn't add anything
No.
other than just bragging rights. So I feel like
Yeah.
the biggest thing would be Rhea to pin Liv. That will add the most to it. The coolest thing, a cherry on top, is that Damien will be holding Dom away from Rhea to pin Liv, so it makes it more suspenseful. That's my hope.
okay. Well, what about you, Drop? How you feeling about this match, and who do you think is gonna win?
Personally, for me, I'm gonna be saying the Terror Twins,
Mm,
only because it makes sense. Because if you look at what happened at SummerSlam, and I'm gonna say the exact same thing when it comes to the predictions for the next one we talk about. You already have Liv have a win at SummerSlam, so it only makes sense right here that you have Rhea and Dom. Actually, no, they both lost at SummerSlam, so it only makes sense for both of them to win here. So then you could have that rubber match at Bad Blood when they event, which I would assume would probably be a Hell in a Cell match because they would probably want to have at least two of them there, one for the men, one for the women. But I personally think it's gonna be the Terror Twins, mainly because we got to figure out exactly how Rhea is gonna get back on that path again to go after the Women's World Championship, and by her pinning Liv Morgan, that gives her an automatic #1 contenders spot to go after that title at Bad Blood. Because, like we've seen before, so I'll give an example for what we saw at Money in the Bank, I believe, where we saw Solo Sikoa pin Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
That gave him an automatic title shot because he pinned the champion. So, which is still kind of like hard to even think about in my head. But so with Rhea pinning Liv, that gives her an automatic title shot at Bad Blood because she ended up pinning the champion there. And I feel like that just adds more layers to the feud, and that's something you definitely need when you head into a pay-per-view like Bad Blood. So that's my prediction for that. I feel like that's a pretty safe bet. I feel like a good majority of the community has their money on Terror Twins for this one. Which, shout out to the Terror Twins t-shirt I saw today. I'm actually very happy that the t-shirt designs are looking a lot better from WWE. Definitely been quite some time since we've seen that, because I remember before it was just a picture of the superstar with words on it, and it was very lazy. So I'm happy you guys are getting a little more creative with the t-shirt designs. But yeah.
So I'm looking at our notes here, Vash, I love how you're assuming some of these picks.
Pretty accurate.
Oh, purity accurate, huh? Because I'm gonna be different. Oh, I'm gonna be different.
Are you gonna say Dom and Liv?
I'm gonna say Dom and Liv. And here's my winding story of why. So, for one, Dom and Liv, and you can kind of lump the rest of the Judgment Day together with this. They've kind of looked like chumps throughout most of this. I mean, yeah, they had the 1 week where they, were standing tall and all that, but like
Yeah.
throughout most of this, they've kind of looked like chumps. And
What do you guys want to hear an example of that? Damien and Rhea are the horses. The Judgment Day are the donkeys. They're the downgraded version of what they used to be. Like elegant horses, like, very beautiful running, beautiful hair. But then we got Donkey from Shrek. We got their version of Judgment Day.
Hey now, look, Donkey from Shrek is donkey, But yeah, so like they've kind of been looking like chumps throughout this whole freaking time, and it's like there's that aspect of it. There's also the aspect of like there's so many distractions for Damien, to get distracted because Finn, JD, Carlito, they could be running distraction the whole time. Not really many for Rhea to distract or really to get physical with Rhea besides Liv. And I think I had mentioned this on Monday. I'm still thinking Raquel Rodriguez is going to get involved somehow, some way, because there's story tie-ins with that where it's like, okay, Rhea, did attack Raquel a few times during their feud that they were doing. There's also the aspect of, okay, Raquel got injured, I'm pretty sure because of Rhea, which led to Raquel and her current tag partner at the time, Liv Morgan, to end up losing the titles, the tag titles to, I forgot who it was at the time right now. But, so that gives like a muscle for Liv on the whole women's side of things. Because like, again, like, not saying that, Liv's a weak person or anything, she's strong, but it's like, comparatively to Rhea, she might need a little bit of backup with all that. And, how do we get to, the bad blood match and all that? Well, I mean, you already got, the whole interference aspect of things. Okay. You got the whole, oh, well, Raquel got involved with all that. You could still build up to the Hell in a Cell match in this way, rather than, having Liv eat the pin and all that. Now, I say, Dom and Liv might win and all that. I still think we're going to get the moment of, because I still think, we'll still get some sort of comeuppance with this, where we're still going to get Rhea doing the riptide to Dom tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we are. For sure. I hope so.
I think we're going to at least get that.
That's probably why they're saving it for the pay-per-view.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm going Dom and Liv. I'm not taking the safe bet on this.
I do not disagree with your bet. That's not a far off bet, because the Judgment Day have to look dominant, and right now they haven't looked dominant at all. They've been looking like a wuss, bitch, pussy, however you want to portray. Exactly. So also, a meme I saw today, a lot of people were saying Liv Morgan is Kim Possible and Rhea Ripley is Shigo, and I cannot take that image out of my head.
Interesting.
Interesting. I'm like, you know what? You're not wrong. Like, Liv Kim and Rhea Shigo, like, personality, gothic colors, Liv being positive as her old portrayed character was. I'm like, not far off. Interesting meme. But yeah, I just want to throw that in there.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, something that's not Kim Possible and something that's definitely not impossible to have is a strap match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Vash, who you got and why?
CM Punk, and I know this is going to be our same answer because Drew McIntyre took
There
the
he goes,
first.
assuming again.
Hey, like a lot of women, we like to assume out here. But
Oh,
with the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, it's because story and bookings was a narrow aspect. Drew McIntyre won the first round back in SummerSlam. That's
mhm,
one.
Yep.
If we're gonna continue with this feud of round 3 or round 4 max possibly, we need to have CM Punk win. And if anybody heard the kickoff, right now Drew has a 0-1 in a strap match, and we have our boy CM Punk having a 2-0 in a strap match. So that must mean that we need to have CM Punk have a 3-0 and Drew have a 0-2 win strap
mhm,
match, and to continue the record, have a 1-on-1 now, win loss for both CM Punk and Drew. So then that could build up
mhm,
for their 2 out of 3 match and decide the next one at Bad Blood. That is gonna happen
mhm.
next. But the question is, will he get his bracelet? Because for them to, that's literally kind of is the, what's the word I'm looking for? That is the MacGuffin. The bracelet is the
Right.
MacGuffin right now. So it's like, will CM Punk get the bracelet tomorrow? I don't think so. He should. If you're in a fucking strap match, you have to get it because you're attached to it. And if you're gonna win, you should get the bracelet. So my hope is he gets the bracelet and he gets the W. That's my prediction.
Yep.
All right,
We
all
also,
right. What about you, Drop?
I'm going with CM Punk because you also have to keep in mind this is different from
Mm-hmm.
traditional strap matches where in order for you to win this match, you just have to touch all 4 ring posts of the ring, and that's an easy goal for CM Punk to achieve, especially if Drew lets his anger take control of him and he's not really paying attention of his surroundings. That could be an easy win for Punk to get over Drew. It's still going to be a violent match,
Mm-hmm.
but it's an easy win for CM Punk. And like I said before, when it comes to the Terror Twins and Dom and Liv, you also had Punk, you also had Drew going over in the previous match. So you would have to have CM Punk go over in this one, and you also have
Mm-hmm.
to keep in mind as well that more than likely these two are going to have a match at Bad Blood, and it's going to be in a Hell in a Cell because those type of matches is what typically ends feuds. And
Mm-hmm.
when you look at it from a story perspective, imagine like see him like look at it like this. Then I'll try to convince the people that are watching this why I'm choosing Punk to win this. It's not. I'm not saying I want Punk to win because I love Punk because well obviously I do. I love the both of them, but the main reason why I'm saying it is because let's say like Drew already has a win over Punk, so why should he be bothered? But imagine if CM Punk ends up getting a win over Drew. Imagine how much that's gonna fuel like imagine how much that's going to like piss off Drew McIntyre where he's like, I can't believe that this guy got a win over me, like I can't take it. He's gonna be pissed. And he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be like all over the place on Raw for the past couple weeks leading into Bash in Berlin. And you also have to figure out in your head, okay, who's going to initiate this Hell in a Cell match? Is it going to be Drew? Is it going to be Punk? More than likely, it's going to be Drew because the frustration is going to get to him knowing how Punk has a win over him, and he's going to want to lock him in a cage. That way, he can manhandle Punk and do whatever he wants with him. And he knows that he's in his own domain, and he could be as violent as he wants to with Punk at Bad Blood. So that's a way to lead into that match. So you could have Drew call for it because Punk called for this match. Drew can call for the Hell in a Cell match. It makes
Mm-hmm.
perfect sense for both parties. And that's why I'm personally choosing Punk for this match. And I don't think he's going to get the bracelet here. I think at the end of it, that's when he'll get the bracelet because I do feel like at Hell in a Cell, Punk is probably going to come on top in that match and he'll eventually get the
Mm-hmm.
bracelet because just pretty much Drew having the bracelet on him gives you the spoiler of the outcome of the end of that feud is when the bracelet comes off and then Punk gets it back.
Right.
That's how you end the feud.
Yeah.
So that's
Um.
what what I chose.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, as much as Vash wants to assume who I'm gonna pick, I'm still going CM Punk.
Oh my
Like,
God!
this
Spoiler,
is
guys. We got Paul Heyman out
spoiler alert.
here.
Yeah.
It's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. Um, kind of the same beats as you guys have been talking about with like Punk and Drew. I guess my only extra caveats here, I could see this totally being okay. So the way I'm kind of envisioning it in my head, because I could actually see Punk getting the bracelet back at during this match,
Same.
It's
but like
possible.
the catalyst of the Hell in a Cell match happening is the fact that Drew keeps screwing himself over because of CM Punk. And I
Oh
think
yeah.
that's going to lead to the finish of this match because I think Drew's going to do something, he's going to screw up and it's going to cost him the win. And that's going to eat at him so much to wanting to fight CM Punk again, and that's when we'll get that Hell in a Cell match, and I mean Drew's gonna have to do something probably even more drastic. Maybe, I mean, dare I say, maybe even just breaking the bracelet, like maybe having like a different bracelet that they could just break, because I mean you don't want to break a fan's present that you got from them,
And
that would
also,
just be cruel.
they could just copy, like, they could just literally go to Target, literally find the same little
Yeah.
charms they got, literally just
Yeah.
get the same color string, and
Hmm.
literally just copy and paste it. It's not that hard.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I mean, I could see something like that happening, leading up to the buildup of that. But like, I feel like with the whole bracelet thing, it's like, I don't want to say like, oh, it's run its course, but like, I kind of want that to kind of be like have a stopping point before the end of the feud, because I think the feud itself really leads into the fact that CM Punk, whether he was indirectly or directly involved, keeps screwing over Drew McIntyre, and that's going to be the thing that just destroys him in the end, and especially after having such a hard fought match like this and then ending up losing because of some technicality. Like, what I keep going back to is 2004. It was a bull rope match between JBL and Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero was defending his title against JBL, and in a way, Eddie Guerrero won because like he, pushed JBL into the corner and like kind of jumped over him to like hit the button. But Kurt Angle came out at the end of the match and was just like, hold on, wait a minute, no, 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 no. Eddie, you didn't win because technically JBL hit that final turnbuckle
Mhm.
before Eddie hit it. So like it could be something like that where it's like Drew goes for like a claymore, he hits Punk with a claymore, and Punk like just staggers back into the corner, hits the final corner, and he wins. Like it could be something like that where
Yeah,
it's like, okay, you kind of fucked yourself over there, Drew.
agreed.
Yeah.
But that's just where like my mind is kind of going with it, because like again, like it's not that I'm tired of the bracelet thing, it's like I'm ready to kind of move on from that aspect of the story.
You don't want that to be the only MacGuffin when there's more to it. So I get
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And I mean, again, make references to it. You could still have like, oh, the breaking bracelet. Hell, maybe even in the match the bracelet breaks. Like you could have that be part of it too.
That's one bracelet that's been surviving through a lot. So
Hmm.
if it happens, it happens.
Exactly. But from one piece of jewelry, we're going to go to another piece of jewelry. One of the top pieces of jewelry in the company. We got the WWE title on the line. We got Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. Vash, who you got and why?
I'm gonna go simple. Cody Rhodes, and if you guys
Yeah.
didn't listen to our face to face of our earlier segment or last week, Cody Rhodes is the champion. He ain't losing. It's just for story purposes for KO to have KO relevant, have him on a POE, and then
Yep.
he's his best friend
Give
in real
Cody a
life
challenger.
outside. And it's just
Hmm.
a good friendly match between your friend and versus yourself as a champion. That's about it. So
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
to keep our conversation simple, straightforward, Cody. Next person.
Yeah. Drop who you got. Why?
I'll keep it simple too, Cody, because just like Gunther, they have a lot of plans for Cody. So they're not going to drop the ball right here, and it really doesn't tell for it story-wise, because you can tell when someone's going to drop the title based on how they're writing the story. It doesn't really make sense for him to randomly drop the title here.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I mean, look, I'm about to go on like a 20-minute spiel on why, Vash wants to keep continuing to assume who I'm going to pick for these matches.
It's not KO. Come on,
Cody.
Let's just move on.
It's Cody.
Come on.
It's Cody. It's Cody.
Yeah.
It's Cody. I mean, I don't need to say anything more than that. So we're just gonna move on to the other main title match. We got the world heavyweight title. We got Gunther versus Randy Orton.
And
That's who you got. Why?
I didn't assume here. I left y'all to wait and say something.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold. Okay, yeah, you're gonna have to explain yourself here.
For me, I have Randy Orton to be winning. I'm on the fuck you Gunther train, guys. What's up? Let's go Gunther out the window. Now, all jokes aside, I do like Gunther. I love Gunther for him. The character from going from War to the Gunther, him becoming who he is, the transitional for him, wanting to lose weight to become the champion since he's on national television and everything else. So I'm very happy for Gunther to get the opportunity. Yeah. But for Randy, I'm a Randy guy. I love Randy, the Viper. I love for him to go from his 14 title reign of the main titles to his 15, and then next year get 16 and such as. But I'm a for Randy. If Gunther wins for story purposes, makes sense. I'm not against it. But from my heart, what my heart wants, what mi corazón está diciéndome, Randy Orton.
Yeah. I'm going to throw my prediction in here because I have to take a little break and I'll be right back.
Copy, go ahead.
But I'm going to say, unless it goes away, but I'm going to say, I was about to say drop. I'm about to say Gunther, mainly because they just started off his reign. They built up him to be this unstoppable force, this monstrous champion. And I can't really see it ending here. I feel like this is going to be a challenge for Gunther to prove, do you belong where you are, even though we know realistically he does. But I feel like this is probably going to be a good start for his reign. It's going to be a very intense battle. It is confirmed to be the main event of the PLE. So because I remember they said it on the pre-show earlier today. So my choice is Gunther, and I will be right back.
Good. And my choice is also Gunther. And I mean, kind of the same reasons that Drop said. I mean, again, he just kind of got the title, and having Randy be his first title defense makes sense because, especially how King of the Ring ended. I mean, this is a way for us to kind of put a staple on that and kind of be like, okay, we fixed it, quote unquote. Gunther win, yay, go team. But not only that, like I'm gonna go a step beyond, plus ultra and all that. I'm gonna say that Gunther makes Randy tap out. And what's interesting about me saying that is I was listening to Cultaholic talk about this. Because they were given their predictions and a couple news videos and all that. But the one guy, I think he actually did some math and looked some of this up too. He turns out, in Randy's 22 odd career in WWE, he's only tapped out 19 times. Now, you may hear me say 19 times.
It's not a lot.
But it's not. When you put into perspective, okay, that's over the span of a 22-year career in a company.
No,
and you've only tapped out.
No, 24-year career.
Well, I mean, in WWE,
I
don't count their little Florida Championship Wrestling thing because that's just developmental stuff.
Copy.
But I mean, that's barely once a year.
Yeah.
Like, and I think like in percentage wise, in all the matches that, or at least televised matches that Orton has been in, that's about like 3% of his matches that he's lost where he tapped out. So for Gunther to get a win like that over Randy Orton is huge. And I mean, if they're all about, building Gunther up to be like a final boss character, tapping at Randy Orton is a good bet with that. Like that's a good booking decision.
It is. It's a good choice. If that
Hmm.
actually happens with that type of prediction, with Gunther putting Randy over, I mean Randy putting Gunther over, like, hey, you tap me out and everything, that would be something that you probably hit him in the back, or you probably put him out in the ring. They couldn't get back up. Gunther's a person that attacks your weakness.
Hmm.
Randy has an obvious weakness. He had a triple spine fusion surgery. This man is literally a walking prone person that could get hit by anybody that knows his
Hmm.
weakness in his back. The back is an obvious hitter. Like if I was a wrestler, my my weakest spot is my back as well. I have a lot of back issues, so it's like fuck, I am done. I am Randy. I'll be like shit. Once I look like I'm portraying a part, it could either be real or part of the play.
Hmm. And that's the crazy thing with Gunther is he can win a match with any move. Like, I mean, one good Boston Crab onto Randy Orton and it's done.
Yeah.
Like he's it's over and done with. But hey, those were our predictions. I know Drop isn't here right now, but hey, Vash, if you wanted to tell the people right now
Look, chat.
where they could go, because hey, we're talkative guys. We love to chat it up, whether with it's with ourselves or other people, but there's only a few places you can find us, and I think Vash has the key to where you can find us to
It,
chat with us about
if you're
anything.
here for the first time, maybe here as a returning watcher, you already know where to find us at or our social media outlets down below. AniMa with Studio, at Legendary Vash, at Drop This Box, and at Walkers MW, the world champion, Weebs of the Ring, hashtag. You guys gotta follow us, cause you know why? Cause Watkins has some big stuff coming up in October. He have a big show. He just announced it recently of his band reunion. Go
Mm.
definitely check that out if you're in the area in October. Definitely go tune in. Go ask questions of wrestling. Go ask questions of his music. Tune in that. That's one important thing. Number two, Drop This Box has coming up videos every Monday through Friday. Go tune in for that. Number three, Watkins has some interesting videos coming up soon after he's done re-uploading his old ones. That's a big
Hmm.
project coming up. Number four, we have a guest, our first guest after 60 episodes of Weebs of the Ring of the past 5 damn fucking months that we've been doing this. We have our first guest tomorrow. It is for our Bash of Berlin coverage, so stay tuned for that. Is I Hate Bonnie. We have his links, all the information on the stream already that is prep and up there for 7 p.m. EST is currently what it's scheduled for. So definitely stay
Hmm.
tuned for that. And the last one, if I miss anything, stay tuned for all the information down below for the Twitch at .tv / Animal Studio, because your boy Legendary Vash will be doing some solo anime reaction streams next week. And check out our social medias because we'll be posting some Weebs of the Ring and Anime Podcast links as well. I'm sorry, not links, clips. Other than that,
Hmm.
stay tuned for that. Follow that, and that's the fucking outro. I hit it back to the
Hell
host.
yeah. Hell yeah, dude. And also just to add a little thing too with that, the re-uploads, the last week of them is this coming week. So guess what will be starting the second week of September? That's right, everybody. New content.
Yes, yes.
But anyway, stay tuned for all that. And like Vash said, we are going to be covering Bash of Berlin tomorrow. We have a special guest lined up for it. So stay tuned at 7 p.m. EST and whatever other time zones they are. You guys know what they are. You guys have Google. I'm not a walking Google. You
Yes, I
guys
know.
can do it.
The only thing we
I'm,
can tell you is our show starts at 7 p.m. EST and Bash of Berlin starts at 1
Mhm.
p.m. That's only two things you got to know from us. Work the other
But
time zones
hey,
on your end.
Exactly. But hey, you know what? If you really did want to know, there's always, the whole notify me thing. So that way you get, that nice little notification on your phone, iPad, computer, whatever have you. But you know what? I'm going to stop it there because I'm going to take some time to thank you for taking time out of your day. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Told everybody I was going to do this in my German accent. Hold on one second. As I get some water, fail at that. Oh, yeah. Oh, so thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, why not do exactly what Vash just said? We are known as AniMa V Studio on all social media platforms. Just remember, that's V with a 3. Yeah. Also, use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring to interact with us about anything regarding wrestling before, during, or after our shows. Feedback is always appreciated as we are nothing without you tuning in. Weebs of the Ring is presented by Anima V Studio. Thanks to our production team of Vash, Walkins, Dropped His Books, Rome, and Jokester, as well as special thanks to JB and Abe. Thank you for joining, and remember, no stunt grannies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good night, Jon Wiederhausen Schniesel dwarfs. I don't know. Sausages!